What we do here is go back.
Anyway.
Yellow.
Hi Kevin, how you doing?
I am very well. How are you?
I'm not doing too bad. I'm not doing too bad at all. Just had a lovely chat with one of the independent candidates over in Southport. He was great. Had a really good conversation. I think chat enjoyed it as well. So I'm pretty good mood. Because that was the kind of content that I would love to have done more of, but I needed to have the platform to be able to do, and now I've got it, so I'm using it. So
awesome. Okay, well I have to give that a watch because I wasn't able to. I was setting my thing up. But yeah, we're just waiting for Viv, who's the whole reason that she wanted to do it, and now she's fucking late.
Also, by the way, speaking of which, I messaged you on Discord, but I think you must have been busy at the time. But I don't know if you saw, but what we're planning to do next Saturday is organise some canvassing in Leicester South for the Green Party. So people who are in the Midlands might be able to come down for that, to go out and do some canvassing for this. So it's Shaman Rahman. She was kicked out of the Labour Party for liking an Aaron Bastani tweet, of all things.
Wow,
and now
amazing.
she's the PPC for the Green Party in Leicester South against Jonathan Ashworth, who really needs to get a run for his money. And that's one of the seats on their MRP polling that the Greens are on like 20% at the moment. So I thought it was worth doing since it's close in the Midlands, I guess, sort of. To try and see if people want to come down and canvass. And if you want to come with, or anyone in your audience does, but that's a thing. I don't know if you wanted to do it or not.
I don't know. I'd have to think about it, I think, because I mean, I've got no problem with it in principle, and Leicester is close enough. It's, it's fucking hour on the train or whatever. See, because I'm a hipster prick, this is the problem. Do I want to be necessarily associated directly with a political party in the way that would then potentially compromise criticism? Or would I feel the necessity to not criticise as much? I don't know. I have to think about it. You forgive me. Yeah. This is a problem with the left, like herding fucking cats. Ridiculous. I should just say yes and just do it, right? But it's never as simple as that. God damn it. Okay. Yeah.
No, it's just fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I might do. I'll get back to you on that. But it's a good idea in general, and I hope that Ashworth does get done because he's a fucking melter. But yeah,
he is an absolute meltoid. Yeah.
And there are several. Jesus Christ, the Labour Party is a dog shit. Where the fuck is Viv? This is don't work with children, animals, or Viv. That's the thing.
But yes, if people are obviously we share a massive audience, but if people in your audience, if they want to, there's a channel in my Discord, so if people do want to get involved, more details come in soon for people who want to come down on Saturday next week to come and canvass. If that's people's things.
Can't hear you at the moment. Fucking ads. Viv! Just hit the fucking link. I don't care about the camera. I'm not going to put you on fucking camera. It's gonna be. We're gonna watch a video and stuff. Jesus Christ.
Also, by the way, chat are asking why you got banned from Twitter.
Why I got banned from Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a long story that might involve Brianna Wu and her people coming after me so that she doesn't have to debate me because I called her out publicly. But also possibly because I said that the Prime Minister should play Roblox live on the One Show.
Play Roblox.
That is a euphemism to get around terms of service.
That makes perfect sense.
Because look, it's a two-parter, my thinking on this. Firstly, who doesn't want to see Rishi Sunak commit Roblox? And secondly, it would be the only entertaining thing that's ever been on the One Show.
Oh, that's the second entertaining thing that's happened on the One Show. Because you got to remember, it was on the One Show where that fucking guy from Blue Peter asked David Cameron how he sleeps at night.
Oh yeah. No, to be fair, okay, you know what? I'll take that back. The second funny thing. That's the thing. That show's only worthwhile if Tory prime ministers are being humiliated and/or ceasing. That's the only.
I love seeing Tory prime ministers humiliated.
Is that a kink thing, or I don't know?
Might be. It actually might be.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Also, by the way, just one sec. Tiffany, I am reading chat. It's just difficult for me to be able to interact with both chat and people who I'm interviewing and/or in a conversation with at the same time. But do not worry, I am looking at and reading messages, so don't worry, I am paying attention to chat.
Senpai notices you. Okay, just calm down.
Are you interviewing us, or are you?
I'd interview with a parliamentary candidate just before you jumped in.
Who was that?
Sean Halsall from Southport.
Oh yeah. Green Labour.
Independent. Someone who left Labour to stand as independent.
Mm.
Nice.
Why did he leave Labour?
Because they're shit.
Yeah, because they're shit. He put himself forward for the shortlist and wasn't selected, even though he had a bunch of union nominations. Five union nominations, so like clearly had huge support from people who should be able to have buy-in with the Labour Party, but not under Sir Keith. Oh no! Having union nominations mean nothing.
Well, okay.
Connections to the lobbying industry. But that's all that matters in Keith's Labour.
Okay, but
change Labour Party.
Trade unions maybe don't get out of the cuck chair. If they're gonna keep fucking you like that, maybe don't pay them millions of pounds.
I mean, that's true. The unions who continue giving loads of money to the
like why would you do that? Why would you do that? That's ridiculous. Anyway,
they've got all this money lying around.
We're on
they've got to give it to somebody, right?
Give it to me in the form, which is it's helpful because I'm on a hype train. So if the trade unions want to fund me to the tune of millions of pounds a year to not do anything for them. I mean, I won't actively pass legislation against them, so instantly it's a better investment for them, you know.
I would say organise some fucking strikes and pay some wages.
That would also be
create more. And you were talking about it before, Kev, when we were discussing the trade union movement. We were talking about how unions need to go back to being kind of community hubs for people, having having the union credit union or having like the union food bank or whatever. That's exactly what we should.
Do community groups.
Before.
In the vacuum where the central government are retracting from. I mean, it's not good that that's generally happening, but that is an opportunity for the trade unions to step in and become an actual hub for their local communities. It's good in general as a sort of socialist policy point, and also it would be a fantastic way of further entrenching trade unionism in places where it's basically dried up because the jobs are gone.
Deindustrialization, yeah.
Yeah, it's a winner all around, and you could save. You could take the money that you shouldn't be giving to the Labour Party because they don't fucking deserve it, and giving it to people in places that actually need it, as well as it's securing the future of trade unionism in the country.
And it's funny watching Sharon Graham like continually having her wallet inspected. Just like the Labour New Deal for working people cannot be watered down. We've met with Sir Keith and everything's fine now. A week later, it's got more holes in it than Swiss cheese. Sounds like you've been played, mate.
Yeah.
Sounds like you've been sold a bridge.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Magic beans.
True. Yeah, and well, on that point, hang on, where were we? Yes. I mean, before we get on to the main topic of tonight, which is laughing at middle-aged dad's wank material, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, fun.
Is she has a name, but we'll get to that. The kind of main highlight of today's proceedings in the general election trial was the fact that Keir Starmer has ensured that we're just going to be in a fucking Tory, David Cameron, Tony Blair circle of death to the end, basically. Wealth creation is our top priority, says Sir Keith in appeal to aspirational middle class. We're just in David Cameron hell world. That's all that exists now.
Prime Minister for life, David Cameron. You do not have a choice.
Exactly. That's literally it. This is the guy who's the head of the Democratic Socialist Party. Fuck off. Wealth creation. Like, I think it doesn't mean good paying jobs for working people. He means rich people getting richer.
That's what's frustrating, right? I mean, again, it goes back to what we were talking about between the difference between making rising the bottom up, right? Creating working class emancipation where, rather than trying to divide people amongst classes and giving people social ability to move out of working class into being a middle class or whatever, it's that we make sure that we rise all the boats. We make sure that no matter what job you do, no matter how, because they're all integral to our society, you get all of the basic standards that, even if basic, having good standard, rather. We're one of the richest countries in the world. We should be able to afford our working class people with, the luxuries that they should have access to and the material wealth that we've created, rather than shoveling it into the pockets of billionaire oligarchs and, creating this class divide between the haves and the have-nots and the have-nothings, for example. And that's, again, because wealth creation is fine as a goal, but that should be for everybody. That should be a broad base, rather than just trying to pick winners and losers amongst those who become artisan pizzeria owners in like fucking Bolton or whatever, rather than having better wages for everybody, better conditions for everybody, having a lucrative welfare state, having unionized workplaces where we collectively bargain to ensure that everyone can afford to go on holiday, everyone can afford to raise a family.
Unions are part of the hard left, I'm afraid now.
Trotskyists, yeah. And on top of that, it's just that we can have community wealth building. We can literally build wealth in our communities, and that would be fine. But this market fundamentalist neoliberal bullshit that the Starmer Brigade are obsessed with pushing is just about individual wealth. Like, just say we want to create wealth for communities, and I think people would buy into that. But the people who he's trying to appeal to in terms of who funds him, they don't want that shit, because that takes away their fucking power.
Yeah. Oh, apologies.
Sorry,
you caught me mid-meal there.
It's just so frustrating. I'm mad about this, but it's just a betrayal of what the Labour Party should stand for. It really is.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Tony Blair wank shit.
It really is. He so wants to get the band back together for some new Labour bullshit.
It's worse than Tony Blair. That's the problem.
Well, yeah, I mean, it really is. So this was from 8 days ago. Now, Viv, you specifically contacted me on the Discords, which, by the way, everyone go follow me on Discord, and said, do you want to do a stream taking the piss out of Supertansky? Now,
I don't think I put it in exactly those words, but yeah.
No, you were actually much harsher than that. I've cleaned it up for public consumption. I can't remember, but and also it's possibly TOS.
I want to watch them Supertansky with you and tear her a new one.
Yeah, there you go.
Obviously TOS. Obviously, look, I was a little bit pissed. Okay, because we had this little mini interaction on Twitter, and she was just like very fucking condescending.
Well, firstly, let's get into that. What happened there? Because I'm not on the Twitters anymore. Because Elon Musk murdered my opinion.
She's blocked me now, so it's an ass to fucking bring up. But
do you not have a memory that works functionally or not?
What I'm saying is, shut up, Kevin. I do have a memory. Yes.
Well, use that then, and tell us from that what happened.
Well, so look, Supertansky's been pushing for a long time now the whole Stop the Tories tactical voting campaign, right? Yeah. Because she really fucking hates the Tories, and on that. On hating the Tories, I can super get on board with just hating the fucking Tories, right? what I can't get on board with is this red team, blue team bullshit where you just like assume that red team's gonna somehow be a lot better. I think in one of her videos, because I watched a few of her videos just to like beforehand, because I was just like, I want to make sure I'm like poking in the right direction here. But like she says she would rather have like, she'd rather at least have a change and maybe it could be better, you know. And I think there's a lot of reasons to think that actually like rewarding the Labour Party with power for what they've done and not stacking up a massive protest vote is actually extremely dangerous. Just being so scared of the fucking Tories that you're willing to give up on ever having any kind of like significant progressive politics in this country. Or
Because
at
you give
least
them,
not
you
for
give,
us.
yeah, you give them a giant mandate, a giant carte blanche to whatever they want with dictatorial power. With like, what's it?
Yeah.
Like they're projected to get like 470 seats or something. It'll be the biggest majority, literally in British history.
It's going to be insane, yeah. I don't see them getting anything other than a landslide. I think the second video of Superdansky's, I think she's arguing against Owen Jones saying the same thing, that like Labour are going to get a landslide, and she's like, well, Tories rely on complacency or whatever. I'm sure we'll get to that. And you know, it's not 100% in the bag yet. But I think it pretty much is 100% in the fucking bag. The question is, in my view, how much of a bloody nose can we give Labour along the way, so that they can't just say, oh, we have this complete mandate, or at the very least, right? Like even that seems out of reach, honestly. But at the very least, like boost up some independent parties and the Greens and what have you. You know, actually have some progressives there, because there are so few progressives in Labour, and the ones who are in Labour don't really have much of a voice, right? Like they're pushed to the back benches, and if they ever speak up, then Keir Starmer will find a way to eject them from the party.
Exactly. Again,
Yeah.
it's short-sighted, politically illiterate nonsense from these people. All they know is somebody told me tactical voting is good. I have people condescending to me in my fucking TikTok comments saying, "Oh, you're just politically stupid. You don't know what tactical voting is. You don't understand first past the post." I understand it perfectly fine. I'm a professional political commentator. I understand it better than you fuckers in my TikTok comment section. Don't patronize me. You're going to give Keith Stonger a gigantic dictatorial majority to push anti-trans policies. Fuck you. I'm not voting for him. I'm not voting for anti-trans, pro-austerity, like pro-Israel politician. I'm not fucking doing it. And these people are just, again, I understand where it comes from. They're burnt by the Tories. They fucking hate the Tories. The whole country hates the Tories. Opinion of opinion.
I
right?
fucking hate the Tories. Several
Like,
of my friends have died under Tory rule because of Tory policy. You know,
Well, I hate
I hate the fucking Tories.
I hate the Tories, which is why I'm not voting Labour.
Exactly, and that's exactly right. And the thing is that they keep saying things like, "Oh, we'll just put Keir into power and we'll be able to hold them to account." How are we the fuck you
Fucking
going to
how
hold
he's
somebody
ejected
with 300
everybody.
seat majority? 300 seat majority. You're not
And
gonna
he's
hold them to
ejected
account.
anybody who would fucking stand up against him anyway. He said quite clearly, "Oh, you don't like this Labour Party? There's no fucking place for you here." You know,
Exactly.
and he's
yeah.
sorry, Gary.
And that's because you can't hold them to account in the party either, because all of the internal processes for holding these people to account, it's all gone. It's all fucking gone, right?
Yeah.
All there is just, you know, the Tony Blair Institute and Labour together set all of the policy. The members fucking like it or lump it. Unions don't get to say either. They get kicked out of the NPF dinner for not getting the policies that the membership want that the unions also support. There's no method to hold them to account whatsoever. Like the opinion. So they're a pollster, and they always take into account electoral tightening in their polls. So they've never really seen a lead for Labour of more than 14 points, because they assume a certain number of don't knows will vote Tory, and then they make that part of their polling. Even opinion have Labour with a 20-point lead, which is, you know, that's a 200 seat majority at that point. Like, then that's like the most likely result. The MRP results are even more likely to be true from what electoral calculus, and that's the 300 seat majority. Like, it's just vacuous nonsense to try and say that you're scared of the Tories winning.
Also,
Also,
just on a basic point, I've always sort of been of the opinion, even when Labour weren't great under like Miliband or even Brown or whatever, like I'd still prefer them to win. Like it'd be good if they win just to keep the Tories out, on the basic sort of like harm reduction theory, right? The idea that even if they're shit, they're going to be far less shit.
Sure.
And they'll probably do some peripheral stuff that's actually quite good, and that's nice. But
Hmm.
with Keir Starmer's Labour Party, how is that even the case? What harm is being reduced exactly? I fail to
So,
see how they actually are going to be
think
fundamentally much
if I can,
better.
if I can be super reasonable and charitable here, I think there are some decent policies that the Labour Party put forward.
Go on, then. Go on. I'm all fucking ears. Go on.
Well, the thing is, they're all half measures compared to what was originally promised, right? But they're still like steps. So, you know, a publicly owned energy company could be a really good idea, for example.
That
right?
is that.
It's not that. It's not that though. That's the issue. Is that they've lied. We now know they explicitly lied because Keir Starmer, because it's now election season, he can't lie anymore. When he was pressed on saying, "What about this energy company? It's not going to be an energy company." It's like, no, it's not an energy company. It's an investment fund. All of their campaign material
It's a fucking
has energy
investment fund.
all of their campaign material has it's an energy company on it. Ed Miliband was doing TikToks today saying they're going to create a new publicly owned energy company, and Starmer knows that's not true. It's a deliberate fucking lie, and the public are all bought into it. It's their most popular policy at this point after they scrapped the £28 billion green energy fund, which I guess has been kind of taken over with EV energy in terms of the political space. I'm just like, these people are going to feel like they're going to be burnt so badly and feel like their entire wallet's going to have been inspected when Starmer wins and is not what they think that he's doing.
Okay, but okay. All I'm saying, right, if I want to be super charitable, you might be able to say that Labour might be slightly better than the Tories, right? At the very least, Labour seems to have slightly less frothing at the mouth, bloodthirsty fascists among its ranks, right?
I didn't realise this was the fucking Viv Wolf shitlib hour. Jesus
I'm
Christ.
not doing the Viv Wolf shitlib hour, okay? Just hang on for half a fucking second, all right? Allow me to get to fucking what I'm... Okay, so even if you accept this premise that Labour could be ever so marginally better than the Tories, right? The problem is, do you want ever so slightly marginally better than the Tories or outright fascism? Like, is that what you want? Is that what you want the Overton window in the fucking country to be? Right? Because my argument has been, and has been for a long time, that I won't vote Labour because I don't want to live in a one-party fucking state where the only option is conservatism or you know, where the options are conservatism or outright fascism, right? Like, I don't want to live in that fucking country. I think that is straight up the death of democracy, the disenfranchisement of like 70% of the fucking country, right? Because even if you're not like a fucking straight up socialist like I am, a lot of people are progressive. A lot of people liked that Jeremy Corbyn manifesto, for example, not shilling for Jeremy Corbyn, because that manifesto is also Keir Starmer's manifesto that he ran on for the leadership campaign, right? But like, progressive policies are very popular. So if
and
you
he's still I won't have the Keir Starmer is still making the ethical case for socialism. God damn it.
Okay, sure. But if you don't want to live in a country where the Overton window is narrowed to Tory donor-backed Conservative Labour MPs, to raging, foaming at the mouth fascist Suella Braverman, Priti Patel, Kemi Badenoch, fucking whatever, right? If you don't want that, then you can't reward Labour with power, because all that will do is solidify in their minds the idea that like this is the only way that Labour can win an election, right? And so the Labour Party never fucking changes. There is no progressive alternative to Labour and the Tories, and we're just stuck. We're just stuck in a conservative Britain, which is what we've had for the last 14 years, right? I think it's reasonable to argue that Starmer's like further right than like Cameron.
He's David Cameron. He literally is just David Cameron. Yeah.
Right.
I think
but like,
I think I would push back slightly. So in Rachel Reeves' May's lecture, I think it was clear, I think, that Rachel Reeves is somebody, because I've read a lot of her writing. I've read a lot of her writing through the Corbyn years, throughout the Ed Miliband years, and she is more left-wing than the current policy platform that
Yeah.
she's put on. But the one who controls what kind of policy that they're allowed, it's not even Rachel Reeves, even though she's the shadow chancellor of the Exchequer. It's Morgan McSweeney, it's Pat McFadden, it's the electoral strategy people in the background going, no, you're not allowed to raise taxes. She was talking about capital gain tax increases just 2 years ago. Like, it's not like it's recent times, not just all me quoting from 2010 like I did when I called her up on the LBC. It's clear the people who are people who have control of the machinations of the Starmer Politburo, who have all the strings being pulled here. And again, it's just frustrating that it doesn't even need to be continuity Cameronism, but it's the way in which they perceive they can only win an election by essentially kowtowing to every right-wing canard, and that is entirely the result of the absolute fucking the real, like, genuinely rancid people in the background, in the shadowy backgrounds in the halls of Labour together.
And on social policy, when we start looking at some of the things that are being said about immigrants, about trans people, about Gypsy Romani traveller community, like when the Tories were saying this 5 years ago, Myrie Black stood up in Parliament and gave her speech about the warning that we were sleepwalking into fascism, right? And now the Tories are much further right than they were then, and Labour are in that same fucking position, in my view.
I agree.
Yeah, they're far enough right that they're like flirting with fascism, or at least fascist rhetoric, in order to appeal to and appease these the Tory voters, the fluting Tory voters that Starmer wants to bring over to his side.
They are
floaters,
yeah.
The Tory donors that he wants to bring over to his side, and of course the red wall up in the north, which Keir Starmer from his Westminster bubble sees as a bunch of knuckle-dragging, drooling racists that he has to somehow appease by throwing them some immigrant meat, right?
It's so tilting that both conservatives and liberals both believe that the working class, especially in the north, they all believe it can entirely be represented by a turning point, Greg's meme. It's just that liberals think it makes them uncultured idiots, and conservative makes it think that they're noble savages, when that's just not true. Like, these are smart, intelligent people who have loads of different, like a plurality of all these different viewpoints who are
I mean, like, the SNP wouldn't have done so fucking well in Scotland if this was true. Right,
exactly.
Like the culture between Scotland and York is not that much, is not that far removed from each other. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, there is a plurality of views in the north, and there's a lot of fucking racists in the north. There's a lot of fucking racists in the south.
Except Brummies, we are scum. That is true.
Well, exactly, because people try to claim, like, of course, I think that Yorkshire probably is more racist than like Lancashire, for example. That's where BNP stronghold was, Yorkshire, for example. But like people say, because I mean, the Red Wall, quote unquote, post-industrial towns that we were talking about earlier, is that like these were people who didn't abandon Labour because they were too progressive or too woke. It was fucking Brexit. It was Brexit and deindustrialization that made them drift away from Labour, especially in 2019 and before 2015, for example, during like the Blair years.
Yeah.
And they just can't understand it. They just can't understand that people just hate having the soul sucked out of their communities and having democracy the democratic vote that they supported being undermined by somebody who's supposed to be their core voter base. Yeah, of course they were pissed off, but it wasn't because they voted. They didn't just hate immigrants or anything. It wasn't because they were racist or anything. It's so reductive the way people talk about the Red Wall as if they're just knuckle draggers that you can throw red meat to. It's so insulting.
Yeah. It's bigoted. I'll say that straight up.
It's classism. It's literally classism.
I mean, it's classism, but it's also just general bigotry, right? Because we've had centuries of the North being fucking deprived, right? Deprived of resources and so on. And it's like any classism that you can engage in towards Northerners only really kind of fucking exists because you've deprived them of resources for hundreds of years, right? Like, that's why the class divide exists between North and South.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly. I think good points being made by Vicky in YouTube chat as well about the fact that a lot of these constituencies also trend older, again because of deindustrialization. There are no jobs left in Grimsby and all these kind of places. Yeah, they've just moved into where the young people who've grown up there have moved out and never going back because they've found jobs in university
Fuck off to
towns.
Manchester, right?
Yeah, I've had this giant demographic shift, and this has created a real kind of split voter base. What's interesting, I was looking at the electoral calculus find out now MRP poll today for the Daily Mail GB News. And going into some of the data, do you know? Well, obviously there are graphs I've seen about this too, but interesting to look at in terms of raw data form. There is no difference when you break down by social class in the polling information. There is no different in the voting patterns. In under no party, no party really changes. A1, A2, like B, C, D, anything like that. At no point does it ever change how people vote. It's almost uniform across the board because class differences have become replaced by like this demographic shift and age differences and things like that. It's a really weird dynamic that we've got going on.
Yeah. But
anyway,
according to Supertansky, Labour and Tories are the same. Nah, mate. Apparently there's a huge difference, and I can't wait to hear what she has to say about that.
Although one point before we start, it's very funny. In her latest video, she called me out, but not by name.
Oh well, hang on a minute. Whoa! Why aren't we watching that now then?
No, it's not interesting. But the video is interesting. It's a funny story. Just somebody tagged me in her Instagram comments, moaning that I was vote splitting and I was going to cause a Tory victory, and that's not true. And then I just laughed. I just said, "No, you just like child poverty when the red team do it," and he got mad at me. But then Supertansky also responded to the person talking about me by saying, "I don't interact with No Justice MTG because I think her illogical nonsense isn't worth responding to, or whatever, something like that." And I responded by saying, "No, you don't respond to your critics because you're a political lightweight. We saw you on debate with Dan Hodges." Like, it was a throwaway comment. I didn't really give a shit. But then she said in her latest video that somebody called her a political lightweight, and I'm just like, oh, there you go. Finally, senpai's noticed me.
Oh wow! Well, the girls are fighting. Let's go.
Well, I mean,
handbags at dawn.
She thinks much more highly of herself than because she is part of the whole tactical vote campaign. She's like runs that. I don't even know what kind of fucking input she has into that website, but her picture's on it alongside of a whole bunch of other fucking people. So like, obviously somebody thinks she has some kind of fucking weight, and she has a small YouTube channel of like 35,000 followers or something, right? Like, yeah. I can't remember how many it is, but I think that's what it was when I looked this morning.
She's definitely carving out a niche for herself in the kind of centrist online space.
Yeah, exactly. And but if you're gonna fucking do that, like, you're gonna need to. You have two options, don't you? Really, either you're bright enough to be able to slap down criticism, or you're a fucking dipshit and you just block all criticism. So,
and again, like she literally, and then like she responded to my response to her by just giving me like the kissing emoji, and I was just like, yeah, well, you said you didn't want to respond to me, and you didn't. You know, fair enough. You cashed the check that you'd written, makes sense. Whatever. Like, I didn't really think that much of it, but it was just kind of funny interaction. Also, thank you UV Power for the £5 super chat. I hate neoliberalism but love fried chicken. True. This is definitely the anti-neoliberalism pro fried chicken channel you've come to.
Yeah.
Based.
Dystopia warning. There's still a need for a dystopia warning because we're not out of the woods yet, are we? No, we are on day 2 of the general election campaign 2024. Not a lot's really been going on today. It's been mostly over the past few days, the main party leaders giving their initial speeches in which they repeat one word over and over and over again until we believe it. And it's also been them going out and gradually, tentatively, like an animal emerging out of its burrow after hibernation, interacting with the general public. Yeah, Sunak's been a bit awkward, hasn't he? A lot of people are saying that's because his software got damaged in all the rain. And you've also got to, in fairness, take into consideration the fact that he's deeply allergic to poor people. Yeah, he's not usually allowed near them. And because he's now running on basically what is effectively Windows Vista, he's gone back to his old factory settings as a Tory robot, which is just to kill all the poor. That's why he's not allowed to interact with, normal members of the public, and he has to only converse with Tory plants in the crowd, like those councillors that asked him questions pretending to be...
And again, like obviously the Rishi Sunak automaton stuff is whatever, like it's memes, whatever. We're all used to it at this point. It's just frustrating to listen to the kind of criticisms that they have of the Tories as if they're just evil for the sake of evil. But again, you know me, everyone in chat knows it because I say it all the time because I'm a boring fucking Marxist. But I'm just like, at no point do they ever engage in material analysis. Ever. They can't understand why the Tories are the way they are, why they're bad, why the vested interests do what they do, which is why they can't criticise Labour because the vested interests are the same people now because of the donations that they get.
Yep.
And this is what frustrates me. And they just go, Rishi Sunak bad automaton lol, but he's also he's too busy killing poor people. And whilst that is true, he is busy killing poor people. Like, why have we got to this point? What's the material relationship between the Conservative Party and the general body politic that allows them to do that and run on that, and why they want to do it? Because I don't think they necessarily
It's
take
just
joy out
born
of killing
bad.
poor
It's
people.
intrinsically evil. That's all it is. The devil got him.
Yeah.
Normal people. We're also in a period called wash up, which is a term that a lot of Tory gack dealers will be familiar with. In political terms, it's them, I don't know, trying to get through the laws they want to get through or some shit. Anyway, I'm making this video today because within moments of the general election being called, people were like flooding my DMs, right? And it's the very similar kind of theme to what I get in comments under most of my videos. I just want to say first and foremost that I can't answer all my DMs. I'd go mental, more mental. I'm the captain of my own ship and I run a pretty loose ship. I just want to go through some of the main themes that I get, and I'm sure you can guess the kind of messages that I get. Not knob shots, no. They know better than that because I would contact their employer and their mums. So the first response
Honestly,
is,
the
I
most
don't like
base
Keir
thing she says in the entire video, by the way.
You what,
Oh,
so?
sorry?
Honestly, the most base thing she says in the entire video, by the way.
True.
You send an unsolicited knob shot, I'm sending it to your mum.
That's the first time I've
Yeah.
ever heard. Is that a southern thing that somebody calls it a knob shot rather than a dick pic? That's not a term I've ever heard used before.
Yeah, no, me neither, actually.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
quite southern, so yeah.
Yeah. Also, I was want to point out, sorry, there was another super chat. Vicky Clee, please talk to Lewis about my canvassing session next week. Lewis, if you jump in the Discord, I've created a channel for the canvassing stuff. There'll be more information there. Obviously, after the stream, people will get involved more often. So if you do want to jump in and get involved, all the information will be down there. But it's next weekend. That's the long and short of it. Sorry, continue.
No, and of course, if you wanted to, you can. It's got nothing to do with canvassing, but you can also do super chats and memberships and all that on both of our channels. And indeed, Viv, you've got ways of giving you money as well, correct?
Oh, yeah, I have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/MixVivianWolf.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you can
Buy me
subscribe
fags
to
and
either
pizza.
channel. You can, yeah, true. You can buy a fifth piece. You can also subscribe to both Kevin or myself on Twitch for $4.99 or for free with Twitch Prime by linking your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account to get a free subscription every single month at no cost to yourself, transferring Bezos bucks to us to keep us employed on Twitch.tv.
Or you can throw coins at me in the street like I'm a Premier League referee. Either way is good.
Well, a Premier League
Starmer.
referee that you can see for free if you elect the Liberal Democrats.
Wait, that plan is so Liberal Democrat. Not let's take it in house and have everyone have access to Premier League football on free to air TV. No, can we have a few more games? Can we have a couple of more games on live TV, please? Dickhead.
Okay, why are you telling me? Genuinely, why? What do you expect me to do about that? Exactly. Or I can't vote for Keir Starmer. Firstly, you're not voting for Keir Starmer. You're voting for the local Labour candidate.
I
It's not
hate
presidential
this.
system.
I've seen so many people fucking repeating this line all over Twitter as well. It's like you're not voting for Keir Starmer. You're voting for your local MP. In a general election, you're voting for Keir Starmer. You're voting for who
Also-
you want to be in fucking government.
Also,
right?
this is
Like-
from the very same people who are like, I can't vote for Labour because of Jombly Cromlins, actually. But now it's like, no, you're not voting for the leader. You're voting for your local party. Oh, fucking hell.
But to Tansky's credit, she did support and vote for Jumbly Crumblins, both within the party and in the general election, and also isn't a TERF. So, like, of all the people that I have more time to be nice to. I think Tansky is one of them. But you're absolutely right. Trying to say you're voting for your local MP, yeah, and they're standing on the manifesto written by all the fuckers that are in Starmer's Politburo. That's how the party democracy works.
I'd like to vote for my MP. I like my MP. I think my Labour MP is a really, really fucking good person.
Who is this person? Or do you
that
don't
would
want to
be-
dox yourself?
That would be revealing where I live. I'll tell you in DMs later.
Okay.
I think he's. I think shit. I even said he.
So it's Rosie.
Fuck, it's gonna narrow it down.
It's Rosie Duffield, isn't it?
I
Robert
don't think
Galbraith.
she uses he/him pronouns. Maybe it's Robert Galbraith. I think my local Labour MP is a decent person. I mean, maybe going really really good might be a bit over the top, but I would like to be able to vote for them. But I can't bring myself to do it because every single fucking MP in the Houses of Parliament that wears a red rosette is just another reason for Starmer to say we've got an overwhelming donors that we've courted over the last year. You know.
Although, interestingly, just on that point of local MPs, he's not technically my MP, but he was the guy I first ever voted for to become MP. Steve McCabe, who's a person that no one will have heard of, but he's been the Birmingham MP, Birmingham Hall Green MP for a million years, since like '97, I think, and he's was indeed the chairman of the Labour Friends of Israel, right?
Excellent!
Absolute piece of shit. He has been. Essentially, not brigaded. I don't know if that's the correct term. Lots of Muslim Labour members turned up to the meeting in order to get him deselected, and so he's now decided to stand down. So he won't be fighting this election, which is fucking awesome.
No, I mean, if you've been chair of Labour Friends of Israel only for 5 years' time, and you'll be Bibi Netanyahu's direct spokesperson, a la David Menzer.
That would be amazing. Because he's got a really strong Scottish accent, so that would be very fun. Him and Fartlow would go on very well, I think.
What's that? Somebody in Israel has an accent that's not Middle Eastern. I don't believe you.
No, Rappaport's got a really thick Tel Aviv accent, Michael Rappaport. Yeah.
I DM'd Kev the name of my Labour MP. Kev will confirm. They're a pretty decent person as Labour MPs go.
I have to reveal who this is. Where are we? Sorry. It's Keir Starmer. Oh, okay, interesting. Fair enough, yeah.
Again, like my local MP is a nobody. Like literally, my MP is some fucking councillor from Lewisham. Nobody, no connection to the community. Apparently, according to sources that I have, she's told people in the locality that she doesn't need to campaign because the constituency's sewn up already. I've never spoken to her, never seen her. And again, she's just somebody who's been parachuted in from the Westminster bubble.
You know what?
She's just gonna be another member of the. She's just gonna be another like somebody who always votes with the whip and never actually undermines party authority. Yeah, fuck am I voting for her?
That phrase, I've heard it so much over the past like couple of weeks. Parachuted in, and it's fucking driving me insane. I hate it. It sounds incredibly dumb. But I can't think of a better term for exactly what's fucking happening, right?
Just carpet bagging.
Random carpet bagging. Yeah, why not? But just fucking random nobodies who nobody in the local constituency has ever even fucking heard of, who are only there because like you said earlier, Helena, they have connections to lobbyists. They're Starmer loyalists, whatever. Just literally getting plonked down into a constituency and given that seat as a reward for their loyalty to Starmer.
Well, that's the one problem with McCabe being deselected is that we're just going to get some Labour together fucking wanker parachuted in, yeah, carpet bagged, yeah. But anyway.
Inserted.
You made that sound.
Penetrated.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh God.
To be fair,
Birmingham. The bureaucracy, Bob.
But look, Birmingham Hall Green is submissive and breedable, so that's fine.
Plus, there's loads of progressives in Labour, that you're throwing out with the bathwater off the top of my head. Nadia Whittome, Zara Sultana, Dawn Butler. And then there's the classic, isn't there?
That's funny, right? Dawn Butler, Starmer basically just tried to axe from the party, failed, but she'll be out eventually, right?
Thing is, what's important?
Zara Sultana's been horribly fucking attacked by the party. And who was the other person that she fucking said? This is
Nadia Whittome was literally was sacked from a shadow front bench position.
Yeah.
Live on TV. Live on fucking TV, they sacked her from a shadow position.
So I don't know. Are we throwing them out, or have they already effectively fucking thrown out? Like, what kind
What's
of
up-
power do they have within the party now?
Well, I know this video was published before the kind of recent outbreak of Purgegate or whatever, but it's very interesting to watch it now in the midst of them getting rid of, or maybe getting rid of Abbott and getting rid of oh god, we watched the thing the other day. What was her name? No, anyway, it doesn't matter. They're purging other people.
Pfizer Shaheen?
Pfizer Shaheen, there we go, thank you.
That's the one.
Yeah, it's so ironic that she's like, well, you're throwing out progressives. No, you fuckers are throwing out progressives. You're the ones doing that.
Exactly. The thing is, as well, is that even if I know there are plenty of people who have different opinions on these things. I know loads of people are just like no votes for Labour regardless of who it is. But if you take, for example, like the kind of the main ringleader, I guess, because this one who always triggers the libs on this one from like a left-wing perspective is Owen Jones. His "We Deserve Better" campaign is kind of the focal point for the vote Greens and Independents because the Tories are toast. Even under the "We Deserve Better" framework about who they want you to vote for, even they say vote for Socialist Labour MPs. So the idea that we're throwing the baby out with the bathwater in the majority of cases isn't true. I mean, I've already said on my channel that, you know, if you're in, you know, Hayes and Harlington or Hackney, North and Stoke Newington, right? Like McDonnell and Abbott have gigantic majorities. You can vote Green all you like. It doesn't make any fucking difference, right? But there are plenty of SCG members who do have tight majorities. People like Zara Sultana, I think you could be able to vote for her. I even mentioned on Twitter today, Olivia Blake might get unseated by a Liberal Democrat. And if there's anything worth like sucking it up and voting Labour for, is to stop a Liberal Democrat winning a seat over somebody from the Socialist campaign group.
But,
in the vast majority of cases, the progressive MPs have big majorities, so it doesn't matter how we vote. And in the second cases, loads of people who are part of this divest from Starmerism campaign are happy to hold their nose for the few, like, minute number of progressives that haven't been purged
So I
already.
just-
Anyway.
Or
I
Viv,
disagree.
you should vote for your local MP. Where's Streeting?
fucking fuck off. I shouldn't have ever bothered DMing you. I don't know. You're just gonna pretend it's like every arsehole from the Labour Party.
Yeah, yes I am. Yes I am. Yes.
Yeah, that's fun.
I've literally I've made
we'll
a
have
list
fun
mentally.
With that
I'm
tonight,
gonna...
chat.
Yeah.
We'll have fun with that tonight. No, I disagree. There's one thing in your framing that I kind of disagree with, Helena. And it's this idea that, like, if it's a sewn-up, safe Labour seat, that voting for another party does absolutely nothing, right? The only way that these previously safe seats have ever been fucking turned is by an incremental increase in votes for alternative parties, right? So you want to, even if your seat is a safe Tory or a safe Labour seat, I think voting for Greens, voting for some independent candidate that you really like, I think that those are incredibly viable options because
that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
That's what I was saying. I was saying that you should vote Green if you're in Hayes and Harlington or Hackney North and Stoke Newington, even though they're good Labour MPs, because it's worth making the case known for what the progressive side of this is actually saying. But because I'm saying that I think in the tight seats for SCG members, there is an argument for voting for them because you want to keep at least people who are going to not vote through anti-trans legislation, for example, because heaven knows people like Rosie Duffield and Tonya Antonazzi will vote with the Tories on these things. So having pro-trans Labour MPs in power, even if it's only just like a handful, is worth doing so. And it's the Olivia Blakes and the Zara Sultanas of this
vote
world.
with the Tories. I fully expect Starmer to be whipping Labour to be voting for anti-trans legislation.
Well, exactly.
That's
They'll still disobey the whip, and getting them in government to disobey the whip is a good thing. But but you're right. In the safe seats, it's well worth voting Green, not just because it builds a movement for future in case McDonnell gets purged, for example. But on top of that, I've mentioned this on stream the other day about tactical voting, which I hate, is that people's campaign financing coming from the state, for example, is based upon the percentage of the vote that they get. So even if you build up a percentage of the voting in safe seats, you don't win any seats, you're still getting campaign financing come the next election. You're still getting your positions in the audience on question time, which may seem like a small thing, but it's how we change rhetoric is by having more voices. That's based upon the electoral result of the last election, how they choose question time audiences. So, 10, 11, 12% Green votes that doesn't win more than 3 or 4 seats, for example, even that might be a stretch. That's still, quadruple the number of people, 5 times as many people who are going to be in the question time audience, who are going to get positions in terms of who gets interviewed on Newsnight, who gets positions to get interviewed on Times Radio, because you're a bigger share of the electoral pie.
And it's all cumulative, right? Like
Mm.
one of the things I've been remarking on recently is the question time shit, where like the last 2 question times I think have been extraordinarily right wing. Last question time we had the bishop lady.
Yes.
I can't remember
And
her
5
name
Tories.
off the top of my head. And essentially 5 Tories, right? Wes Streeting and then a bunch of foaming at the mouth fascist morons. And Wes Streeting is just, as we all know, a right-wing lick-spittle cunt, right? So, like just all these things kind of like are cumulative and snowball into broader media recognition, into more votes, into potentially changing a seat like later on, into putting pressure on major parties to take on more progressive policies, etc. This is why I fucking hate tactical voting. Like getting rid of the Tories can't be your only fucking consideration. And sorry.
Exactly, and it also points out in chat as well as the voting for who people wanted to is how Farage forced Cameron to call a referendum by threatening the electoral coalition of the Conservative Party by saying, if you don't take a clear stance on the European Union, you'll lose our votes forever.
Well,
And
literally,
they got the referendum and they got Brexit done and they won no seats.
Yeah, and Reform are literally doing the same thing, and they'll win no seats, but they've forced the Tory party further right than it's been in, well, decades.
Yeah.
Do people realise how eye-rollingly predictable and tedious that comment is? Not to mention
Wait, what's the comment? I've
factually.
forgotten now. It's been so long.
Tories and Labour being the same, I'm
Yeah.
assuming.
Oh,
Viv, you sent me this video. How do you not know what it was?
I'm sorry. I don't have the entirety of the fucking transcript memorized, Kevin. I apologise for that oversight on my behalf. Okay.
Oh, Jesus God. Just go and vote for your local MP, Margaret Hodge, please. Jesus.
Completely inaccurate. It's such a basic bitch response. Especially enraging to me because I've been making content for 4 years which is focused purely on holding the Tories accountable, right? All the crimes, all the scandals.
And not holding Keir Starmer at all accountable.
Well, again, there's no material analysis, right? Because she understands. I've seen enough of her content. I know that she understands that the Tories are funded by dark money, by the people who are the enemy of working people, the bourgeois people who are literally our material enemy in this in class conflict. Whatever. I know that she knows this, and I know that she should know better than just blue team bad, red team good. But again, it's just the liberal brain poison just comes in when it comes to electoral politics. And she, again, won't criticise the problem, which is conservatism rather than the Conservative Party.
Yeah.
Sometimes multiple scandals breaking in one day. I've always been really clear that I'm a Labour member, right? But I advocate for tactical voting. And even if I didn't advocate for tactical voting, under the current first past the post system, it's a 2-horse race, isn't it? And in terms of my personal opinion, aside from all the
It's just it just isn't, right? Like it's just not. The amount of fucking pressure that SNP has managed to put on the major parties in Parliament, it's not a straight 2-horse race. Like if you get some MPs in Parliament, then you have a voice in fucking Parliament.
Yeah.
Exactly. And on top of that as well is this idea as well from the tactical voting people. I mentioned this on stream yesterday. I posted a TikTok about it today, but I specifically mentioned this point, which is that people keep saying, "Oh, if you vote for the Green, if you encourage people to vote for the Greens, Labour might not win." I'm just like, the people I'm clearly like, come off it. Like the people I'm appealing to are not like Tory Labour swing voters. I'm appealing to progressive student-y types. I'm appealing to ethnic minority people in urban areas, people from who are kind of trade union types, whatever it might be, people who are on our side of the political spectrum very specifically, and also trying to win over people who can be sold on the idea of public ownership and of more redistributive policies. But the vast majority of people are going to be in Labour seats. They're going to be in Labour Green seats. And the idea that there's any amount of Labour votes that could end up voting Green that could lead to a Conservative winning that seat under first past the post, it's tiny. It's absolutely tiny, the potential harm that might do to the difference in the vote.
However, I would take the position that I would rather frankly, have another 4 years of the Tories than reward this current iteration of the Labour Party with power. Like, not that it's going to happen, right? But but I just don't find the argument that, like, oh, you're allowing the Tories to win. Like, I don't find that particularly convincing to me, because I would genuinely rather have the Tories win, because I want us to have the option of not having the Tories at some point in the future. And I think that just putting into power a Labour Party which really isn't that far removed from the Tories, or at least I think could reasonably be characterised as Tory during the Cameron years. I think having them be the Labour Party from now on, I think it's just shit.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Well, I would put it a slightly different way and say, I think you've got to have a bit more self-respect than to just say, well, the Labour Party might be really shit, but I'm still going to vote for them because it's a two-horse race. No, demand something of them. Demand something of them. You've got to have some fucking policy for me to vote for. Like, if they were offering just a really shit, watered-down version of social democracy, I'd probably still vote for that, just on the basis that, it is a two-party race, and okay, they're offering something. There is a harm reduction mitigation factor involved here. But they aren't offering anything. They're literally saying, there is no place for you in this Labour Party. Okay, well, I'll vote for someone who doesn't fucking despise me then. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Again, we all fell in line. Like, we all fell in line behind Ed Miliband. We all fell in line behind deficit reduction plan from Ed Balls as Shadow Chancellor, because at least we had a seat at the table and they didn't tell us that they hated our guts and they wanted us out of the party forever. Like, it's super simple how to get our votes on board, by being slightly less shit than the Tories and by being welcoming of our political opinions. And now we've got neither. And they get mad when we don't support them. Like, fuck off, mate. Like, I'm sorry. It's just
I'm
not on top of that.
I don't owe you my fucking vote, mate. You're supposed to be serving me, not the other way round.
But also, how long are we supposed to take that, right? Like, let's say we agree to that argument now, and we're like, yeah, sure, fine, get rid of the Tories. The Labour are like marginally better. What happens in the next fucking election when the Tories are even further right and Labour are even further right?
Or even Reform UK in the opposition.
Apply? Yeah. Does the same argument apply? Do we just keep doing that ad infinitum as we keep shifting towards the right? Is that like
it hasn't worked for the last 40 years, so I don't know that it's going to continue to work exactly that same way. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So when does this argument run out? How much abuse are we supposed to take? Like, oh, you're fucking dirty, fucking Tory enabling whatevers, right? Like, how much of that are we supposed to take before we go, well, fuck you? Why the fuck should we vote for you anymore? You're not representing us in any fucking sense of the word. You're not giving us any of the things that we say we want or need. Like, we're effectively
starving children. They're literally starving children.
Yeah, fuck it. They're like 2-child benefit cap. You can't even remove that.
But to be fair,
half a million children staying in poverty. How is that fucking red? What?
No. But come on, the rich do have that right to defend themselves.
Well, at the end of the day, right? This is the most important point here. What would be the red line for these people? Like, this is the question I want to ask all of these people. What would Starmer have to do? What would the Labour Party have to do for you to say, no, this has gone far enough, I can't vote for you, I can't support you? Do they have to kick a dog they have to kick a dog on TV, send your family to Gulag, promise to invade Ukraine with Russia? Like what possible things do they have to do to get you to not fucking vote for these people?
It's just
because
it's put on a blue rosette. That's it. That's the only difference.
That's all that matters to these people. Literally all that matters, yeah.
Yeah, it's a football team.
Did you get a haircut, Kev?
Did I get a haircut?
Yeah, did you get a haircut?
No.
Or it's just how you're wearing it. You got sort of early YouTube loner box thing going on.
No, I can do my hair's long enough I can kind of do the emo over the eye bit now, which is nice.
Yeah. Oh, wild.
It's fucking hot. Anyway.
Yeah.
Tactical voting, and aside from the campaign that I'm associated with, I don't think people realise that the only reason that Rishi Sunak has called this election is because he has bankrupted the country. Billions in COVID fraud. $500 million.
That's what kind of analysis? What kind of analysis is that? That's
why did he call the election because of that? That was known ages ago.
That's rubbish. Yeah, that's
I mean, the answer, of course, he called the election because He didn't want people to the longer he waits, the more old people die, and the more people have to get like new mortgages with the shitty interest rates.
Well,
And,
my
like, it's
theory
just-
my theory from day one has been that he knew that more votes of no confidence were going in
Yeah.
from
Also
failing
that,
to call an
yeah.
election, so he could dissolve Parliament to stop them from being able to
Yeah, he
remove
was-
him as Prime Minister.
He was far more scared of the 1922 committee than he is of the electorate, so that's why he went.
Yeah.
That's my theory anyway. Obviously, none of us can fucking know because even if they tell us, we can't trust that it's true.
Also,
So-
let's be honest, he is screaming. He's screaming for this to be over. He wants to get on a plane and go to California and pretend that Britain never happened. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know if that's true. I think if he could hold on to power, it'd do it forever.
Well, probably, but he knows that can't happen. So instead of waiting until November, he's thinking, I could still get in the last couple of months of summer in California, I reckon.
Yeah, probably.
Fuck it, let's go.
Billion on a wasted Rwanda scheme. No wonder Labour are having to be tentative, because they're inheriting a nightmare. Another common thing is people saying, "Oh, I prefer."
I'm sorry, I'm just sick of this. I'm really sick of people who just they don't know anything about economics. They've never studied any macroeconomics. They've even bothered like doing the rudimentary research, like basic shit like I have. And they just repeat whatever Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves have said in interviews on ITV or whatever about there being no magic money tree and we're inheriting a terrible economy and there's no money left, for example. All this bullshit is not true. It's just fundamentally not true. There is no economic reason as to why a country with a high debt to GDP ratio has a worse economy than one with a low debt to GDP ratio. That's just fundamentally not true. Bond yields are coming down. Inflation is now lower, so interest rates will start coming down too. There is plenty of room for them to fiscally expand into new investment plans. There's absolutely plenty of reason for them to be able to do this. So for her to say, oh, no wonder Labour are being timid, they've got no money left, it's bullshit. Learn economics for fuck's sake and stop just repeating verbatim what Wes Streeting has mentioned to you on the fucking news, like an automaton. Critique these people. Stop just acting like they are saying things truthfully in your best interest. They lie all the fucking time. All of the time. This is a political campaign entirely based on lies. And because these credulous people, like, I guess understandably, want to take their chosen political party seriously and take them at face value. I'm sorry, Tan, they're lying to you.
Yeah, they really are.
For this candidate to win in this area, could you add them to the tactical? No, because that's not how tactical voting works. It's not a preference. It's not ideological. It's logical. It's a data-based aim with a very
Okay, if you're still playing bingo, chalk that one off. Practical, not ideological. Ding.
Yeah, literally centrist bingo. Yeah.
clear objective: destroying the Conservative government and the Conservative Party for good. If we all vote tactically to get out or
How is
keep
that
out
not
a
an
Conservative
ideological
government,
objective? It's ideological. It's stupid. It's
yeah.
based purely on I hate people who wear blue, but like it's an ideology. It's the ideology of hating blue rosettes. Like,
Well,
go for it.
again, there's no such thing as being practical but not ideological, because what you perceive to be practical will always be in service of ideological ends at the end of the day when it comes to politics. Like it's a nonsense phrase that people keep using because, again, liberals and centrists perceives themselves as being outside of ideology. The right and the left, they're all cranks who we can ignore. They are political persona non grata who we can shove to the sidelines because they are clouded by ideology, without realizing
This is just
liberalism is a fucking ideology.
This is just a basic analysis of like power politics anyway. This is exactly how white people think of themselves, how cisgendered people think of themselves, how straight people think of themselves. They are the normal. They are the default.
Cultural hegemony.
There's things that she and her people believe, and then there's the extremism. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
She is the.
There's an Overton window, and there was ideological. That's it.
Yeah.
The two genders. Overton window and ideological.
then bye. It's game over. Another one I hear is, "Oh, I want to
Again,
vote with
pause
my
as well.
heart."
Sorry,
Yeah, don't.
I hate to like pause Andy again, but it's a really great point in chat from Lewis, which is that even if the Tories get wrecked, that won't end conservatism. Right-wing politics won't just fuck off somewhere because there's no Tories in government. Again, yeah, absolutely, because again, the material analysis is that conservatism is an artifact of material relationships of capital and labour. It's a material relationship based around the society that we have and the
All
economy.
right, Marx, calm down. Jesus.
Yeah, well, yeah, I fucking am Karl Marx. The real Karl Marx has been reincarnated
True.
in the body of a fucking Twitch streamer. And but it's so true. Literally 100%. It's about material relationships. And again, this material relationships are the ones that's poisoned the heart of the Labour Party. And she can't fucking see that because it's all blue team bad and not indeed an ideology that I want to get rid of.
Yeah.
The only Zizek gift, true.
Also, you don't need to apologise and keep saying, I don't want to pause, Andy, because, yeah, you do. We both do. That's what we do. It's fine.
Yeah.
I've come to
That's why
accept...
that's
I
why
don't
picked
celebrate
some
or
nice
condemn
short
what it is. I just accept it is a part of me.
I picked some nice short videos today. Usually you watch something that's 40 minutes and it takes you 3 hours. Today we've got some nice 8-minute videos that should only take an hour each.
Yeah, good luck with that. This one has already taken an hour. And we are not even halfway through the cunt. Jesus Christ.
We all may. There are still some areas where you can do that, where it kind of just so happens to turn out that it's like, almost like having a functioning democratic voting system. But in the vast majority of areas in the country, that isn't happening. First past the post is deeply undemocratic.
What was the context of this, sorry?
Oh, Jesus Christ, it's going to take us forever. Right.
Vote your conscience.
There are still some areas where you can do that, where it kind of just so happens to turn out that it's like, almost like having a functioning democratic voting system. But in the vast majority of areas in the country, that isn't happening. First past the post is a deeply undemocratic voting system. The only other place in Europe that has it is a literal dictatorship. It's a system which...
And again, the thing is that she keeps saying, oh, well, people are just wanting to vote with their heart. And I'm like, no, we have utilitarian reasons why we want to support the Green Party. We have a whole strategy in mind for why we're doing this. It's not just Labour make me feel bad, I want to vote for the people who I like. No, we have a whole plan about the way in which we want to use our vote to be able to influence policy in the best utilitarian fashion. And again, we have this continued problem that they don't realise that dictatorial power for Labour is bad.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Which consistently benefits the Conservatives and completely disregards progressive votes, despite the progressive vote outweighing the Conservative vote. Tactical voting is a step in the right direction. It's a process. It's us finding...
Maybe you could force the Labour Party to introduce some sort of fairer voting system then? Or is asking them for anything too much?
Yeah, and on top of that, they keep saying, oh, if we just elect Keir Starmer, he'll give us first past the post if we pressure him. You're giving him a 300-seat majority under first past the post. Why would he introduce proportional representation? What the fuck would they have to gain from proportional representation? Do some basic analysis. Like, live in the real world where I'm going to give them dictatorial power and they will willingly give it up to make me feel nice inside. You're a fucking moron.
He promised proportional representation when he thought it was something that could help him gain power. But when he finally decided that power was all but assured, he was like, well, fuck proportional representation, I'm going to get rid of that.
Yeah,
because
asking a government with a majority to introduce proportional representation is asking the turkeys to vote for Christmas, which is why you must force them to do it.
Yep, literally.
Finding a loophole in systems designed to benefit the Conservatives and then using them to our advantage. We're making people aware of the limitations of that voting system.
That's exactly
and then we're
what
telling
Labour
them
are
how
doing by becoming Tories.
Yeah.
They're using the systems designed to benefit Conservatives by becoming Conservatives.
Yeah.
So that the system will benefit them.
they can overcome it to get what they want. If you do this thing, we will achieve our aims. And what's our aim? Dismantling one of the oldest, most consistently damaging, self-serving and hateful political parties in Britain. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And any commentator out there that's telling you to vote for a party that hasn't got hope in hell of winning the seat isn't giving you the full facts, no. And also, whose side are they on? Because doing that will split the progressive vote.
Labour and the Liberal Democrats are not the progressive vote. There is nothing progressive about starving children and endorsing war crimes. How many fucking times does this have to be a thing that we have to continue saying? I know my chat obviously hear it over and over again because the people continue to interact with. I'm just sick. I'm just so sick of people talking about the progressive alliance. What with the austerity enabler, the austerity democide enablers, and like the war crime endorsers? No, fuck off, mate. Nothing progressive there. Nothing progressive at all.
Yeah, exactly. Then you to pretend that you're part of the progressive alliance or whatever is ridiculous. You're not. You're stealing votes from progressive parties under the guise of being progressive in some areas.
You're shortening the odds of anything progressive ever happening by closing the door on what's acceptable progressivism.
Yeah.
Quote unquote.
And that's how the Tories.
Also, I will just point out, in terms of which side are you on narratives, you're in the same political party as Natalie Alfick.
True, and Christian Wakeford.
And Christian
Which
Wakeford.
side
I'm
are
not.
you on?
I'm not on the same. I'm not in the same political party as rape apologist Natalie Alfick. I'm just saying.
Sing that. That's a Union song.
Yeah.
That makes me a trot.
Exactly. Purge.
Sneaking. And not just that, they rely on us doing that. Just like they rely on us not being informed, being apathetic, not using our vote. You can't deny our political reality, but you can protest against it. And it's not like any of us want to tactically vote. We don't sit there and go, oh, I bloody love tactical voting. It's just a means for us to get one step closer, you know, whilst using the systems. Because if you don't use the systems, you're just an eternal protester. It's a step closer to achieving...
Oh, adults in the room!
protest.
Adults in the room! Adults in the room!
Literally all the memes in one place.
Student politics! Oh, fucking hell. Oh, God. I want to tear my fucking skin off. Jesus.
I want to say things in terms of service.
Exactly. Terms of service are what's stopping me from saying things, Tansky. I'm just saying.
I was
want,
myself
which
with
are
myself. I'm protecting here, to be honest.
Well, exactly, yeah.
So voter reform, press reform, our public services being a priority, nationalisation. It's a plan
Nationalising fucking what?
and it'll work. But only if
Nationalising fucking what? What's he nationalising?
Maybe
They're going to do. They're going to build Great British Railways. That Tory policy from the Shapps Phillips Rail Review. They're going to do that.
Yes.
It's not like the Tories already nationalised like 6 different rail lines already been nationalised under the Tories. I mean, it's good. It's good that they are doing nationalisation of the rest of the rail franchises. But it's nothing new. It's nothing special. It's always been policy. And the fact that even the Tories do it just shows you how like minimal it is. Yeah. But they've got a publicly owned energy company, so it's all good.
Yes.
Well, you disabused me very quickly of that notion earlier, so...
if you turn up. Another one I get is, oh, why should I vote for Labour? We've got the website there which will tell you, how you can vote tactically if you want to. But the answer to that question is pretty simple, isn't it? Under our voting system, it's them or Tory. But as for the question, why should I vote for Labour? I don't know, mate, have you tried using a hospital lately? How about you look at the 4 years of videos that I've made outlining every single scandal? How about you wake up to the fact that these lads are, robbing your taxes? They helped kill your nan, who you had to watch on Zoom whilst they partied and got off their tits on cocaine in Downing Street. Here's Gordon Brown, texture like sun, with a list of reasons that spell out the difference between a Conservative and a Labour government.
You have to go as far back as Gordon Brown. Okay, so I saw this video earlier, full disclosure, okay? But I was mind blown that she brought this up as like, okay, here's Gordon Brown to explain to you the difference between Labour and Tories. I want to see how much of what Gordon Brown touts as Labour's achievements, and to be fair, a lot of them are great achievements, right? I want to see how much of that Keir Starmer's going to build on or re-achieve.
Okay. Exactly, and on top of that as well is the again this is only the good stuff. It's only the good stuff that she'll let you know about. Again, all of these Labour sycophants, will they ever mention any of the bad things from the Blair administration? They'll mention the war because everyone agrees that the war was bad. But people don't talk about PFIs. They don't talk about buy-to-let mortgages. They don't talk about the lack of council housing. They don't talk about the deindustrialization. They don't talk about the continued deregulation of the continuation of Thatcherite, the deregulated nature of the financial sector that they inherited from Margaret Thatcher. They don't talk about the plan to try and send asylum seekers to Tanzania. They don't talk about the choreographed things with the Sun newspaper that David Blunkett was doing to try and make them look tough on asylum. They don't talk about the fact there was Yvette Cooper who initially instituted the disabled fucking litmus test shit for welfare payments during like the Benefit Street era. They don't talk about any of these things. All they think about is, red team good. Let's talk about the minimum wage and let's talk about the Equality Act. Fine, things I agree with, or at least in principle I think they're not terrible. Like for minimum wage, where I would prefer collective bargaining, for example. But they never talk about the bad things because red team good.
Also, why did you have to bring up Yvette Cooper and Ducks Vivian Woolf like that? Really?
Hey,
Jesus.
no.
What we have achieved together since 1997. The winter fuel allowance, the shortest waiting times in history, crime down by a third, the creation of Sure Start, the cancer guarantee, record results in schools, more students.
Why would you guarantee to give people cancer? That's very strange.
Also, by the way, sorry, I want to point out, just so it's clear, for Venusian Teapot in chat, I think was getting the wrong end of the stick. When I said the things I would want to say preclude terms of service, it's well worth pointing out that self-robloxing is also against terms of service, and that's what I was referring to. I wasn't being mean to Supertansky. I was being mean to myself. I just want to clarify in case people think that I was saying something that I wasn't.
Yes.
The Disability Discrimination Act, devolution, civil partnerships, peace in Northern Ireland, the social chapter, 500,000 children out of poverty, maternity pay, paternity leave, child benefit at record levels, the minimum wage, the ban on cluster bombs, the cancelling of debt, the trebling of aid, the first ever Climate Change Act. That's the Britain we've been building together. That's the change we choose.
Okay, so ban on cluster bombs. Okay, well, Starmer supporting war crimes in Israel. Okay, so
but not with cluster bombs, so it's fine.
Lifting children out of poverty. Well, Starmer's not going to remove the fucking. People literally calling Keir Starmer kid starver, right? So what else was on that fucking list there? The green energy stuff, right? We just discussed how they've completely washed away their plans to push to net zero, and setting up Great British Energy, which Helena has reliably informed me is just a fucking investment company and not a public energy company at all. I'm struggling to remember the other things. There were quite a lot. But...
Also, if you have to go back 20 fucking years. I don't get. Tell me what you're going to do now, not what you did 20 years ago.
And also, that's 13 years of Labour government, and they're going to say, "Oh, we banned cluster bombs." I'm like, "Okay, mate. What? Like, oh, sure."
That's why I'm comparing, though. That's the thing, right? Is that she's saying that Gordon Brown is demonstrating the difference between Labour and the Tories, and I'm saying that the Labour Party that Gordon Brown is talking about there, okay, is fucking dead. Keir Starmer wouldn't support most of those policies today.
Yeah, he'd be purged out of the party as a trot. Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of it, a lot of these things were at least in the manifesto. These were things that they campaigned on. Has Keir Starmer campaigned on any of these things? Anything close to these things? Like breakfast clubs in schools, maybe, is like the closest you get into like a genuinely progressive policy in terms of wanting to make life better for kids. But the two-child benefit cap, they've been explicit about how proud they are that they're going to keep the two-child benefit cap, which they could do if they tax the rich fucking tomorrow. And they don't do it. They don't do any of these things.
Yeah.
How can people still wonder? After 14 years of this, anything would be better. My cat in a fucking bow tie would be better than those clowns playing at running the country. We're not telling anyone what to do. We're just providing a resource that will decimate.
No, we're not telling anyone what to do, but if you don't do what we say, we're going to call you a Tory enabler and say you're personally starving children to death. Fuck you and your fucking weird shaming bullshit.
Them. Purity, party political purity, ideology, individualism.
I don't have the party political purity. I'm a lifelong Labour voter. Apart from the first election I voted in, I voted for Lib Dems, and that was the coalition.
Oh
government.
God,
I'm sorry.
I'm surrounded by shit libs. They're everywhere. Oh.
But I'm a lifelong fucking Labour voter who's saying I'm not going to vote for Labour anymore. This is not party loyalty, right? Yes, it's ideology. Mine is the ideology of loving democracy and not wanting to see more people starving, dying, and being oppressed by the government because of their various immutable characteristics. That is my ideology. And if it's not yours, then fuck you.
And again, what they're trying to, when she says like it's all about ideology, individualism, and purity politics. Again, she just doesn't understand that we have a utilitarian like there's a calculus that we've taken into why we're using the vote the way that we are. And this idea that they look, all these people think these things. They think that all we're doing is just having a visceral emotional reaction to Labour and throwing our toys out of the pram and voting for somebody because we want to feel good about ourselves. And that's just 100% not the case. I mean, at least Phil, from a different bias, at least interacted with the arguments I was making as for the reasons why I'm doing it. I was very clear about it, and he was at least interacting. But these people don't want to discuss, they don't want to debate, they don't want to be able to entertain the idea that maybe our strategy is different to theirs. They just go, oh, they're on purity politics. Oh, they're just individuals.
And then they'll slag us all off as like Corbynistas as well. And I think you guys are probably slightly more hot on Corbyn than I am. But in general, like I don't give a fuck about Corbyn. I thought he would have been an okay, a decent Labour leader. I liked the direction he was pulling the party in, but I don't care whether or not Jumbly Crumbles is in a leadership position or not, right? What I care about are the things that I fucking listed before, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Also, by the way, there is a Liberal Democrat in my chat saying that the Green Party are far left, and I'm just like, no. Like, when on earth at any point have the Green Party called for the workers' control of the means of production, distribution, and exchange? They've said, let's tax the rich, and maybe let's stop sewage being dumped into our rivers, and maybe let's try finding some way of redistributing wealth from the obscene super rich. True, exactly. That is, if you think that you want to tax the rich a little bit more, you're basically a disciple of Leon Trotsky at this point. Marxism, Leninism, Denirism.
True.
Which is nuts to me, because I don't know. Maybe we should show up in Parliament and we'll hear some of my fucking ideas. You'll see what hard left actually fucking looks like. You know.
Also, so I just have to say thank you to Lewis for the £20 super chat. You've been very generous tonight, everybody. If everyone wants to know more about progressive politics in Sefton, you're happy to talk. It's a shame you missed our convo with Sean. The Green candidate in Southport is amazing too. Well, thank you very much for the super chat, Lewis. Again, if you want to DM me on Discord about it, you're welcome to do so. I'm always got time for listening to my chatters. So.
Yeah. Oh, don't open that.
That's all.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. Because you interact with people.
Time you have.
You interact with people. You get fucking Lib Dems in your chat. That's the problem.
You've always said I'm very hoping to have debates with people and have a plurality of opinions here. But I just again, there's nothing far left about like moderate social democratic politics. But he's the chatter. I don't know what their pronouns are. I said all the love and you come in peace. And that's fair enough. If you're happy to debate in reasonable terms, you're welcome into the chat.
Irrelevant if you're going to spend the next 5 years with a boot on your neck. Don't know about you, but I'd prefer to take a gamble on a party that might not meet every single one of my individual personal needs, but is at least a change rather than facing the...
It doesn't meet any of them. I do not feel represented by the Labour Party. In fact, the Labour Party seems, as a trans person, to be utterly hostile to my very fucking existence. This is not.
Where's Streeting? It's going to be in charge of our fucking healthcare. Like, where's Streeting is going to be in charge of our healthcare.
Yeah.
It's not a question of them not being pure enough for me, right? I'm willing to make fucking compromise. I just said I'm like probably one of the hardest left people you're ever gonna have to fucking deal with, right? But like, but I'm never gonna. I'm probably not going to see in my lifetime a government which represents the kind of politics I would like to see in this country. I'm willing to make compromises for things that are better, right? But they've got to actually be fucking better. I don't want to vote for a party that is hostile to my fucking existence. And I think it's condescending as shit for the cisgec to be telling me that I need to, because I don't see, it was my friends who fucking died under the Tory government, right? But you know what? They died because of policies that were fucking brought up during the last Labour government, Okay, so why am I voting for fucking Labour? What do I have to vote for Labour for? How do
Yeah.
they represent me in any way? They just don't.
They don't. Yeah.
The same old, guaranteed fascism. Now, you can be a part of the movement that are trying to affect change and bring down the Conservative Party, or you can sit there whining about Starmer. But if you want to do the latter...
But you aren't campaigning to change anything. You aren't. You're just changing the fucking rosette. That's it. You're not actually
campaigning to get Starmer in as well.
Exactly, yeah.
Right?
You're the one
Yeah.
campaigning to make sure that nothing fucking changes.
Yeah, exactly. It's a change. It's a change of the guard, a change in management, not a change in ideology.
Exactly. It's so fucking frustrating to hear them talk like they're fucking burgeoning revolutionaries or something. Shut the fuck up. You want a different manager in the fucking stage decline of Britain.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't really particularly want to hear about it because I've got a job to do. So yeah, if you want to, join us.
Important job. Very important job. Going to destroy the Tories by becoming them.
We haven't failed.
Exactly. Look, I've got to sit here and placate divorced centrist dads. It's a very, very important job I do.
The things again, like, fine, she's not paying attention to the Labour Party, that's fine, but stop ignoring people who have been paying attention, who've been part of at least the trade union Labour movement for. I've only been there for a very short amount of time, to be honest. Like, I'm not like a gigantic expert, but I listen to people who are telling me the shit that's going on within the party, going on with the halls of power, the people who are going to be in control of our democracy, the people who are going to be in control of the things that that get passed as policy, the people like Labour Together and the Tony Blair Institute, which, may I remind everybody, is funded by the Saudi Arabian fucking government, right? The one that cuts off people's hands and won't let women drive. Like, these are the people who are going to be running our democracy if you elect Keir Starmer. And these people don't even want to hold these people to any sort of scrutiny and just say, well, you've got to vote for them. We'll try and push them left later once they've got a giant majority after you've given up all of your leverage. And I'm like, sure, you hate the Tories, that's fine. But you cannot just abandon scrutiny for everybody else.
Yeah, it's just Tories bad politics. It's shallow, it's vapid, it's stupid, it's naive, it's anti-democratic, let's be fucking honest, because if all you care about is the colour of the fucking ribbon, then you just end up in a one-party state anyway, right? Like, and she has the fucking balls to be this fucking condescending to people about it. That's what really gets my fucking goat. It's like, oh, you're just going to sit there and whine about Starmer while we get on with the job. You know, it's the whole adults in the room bullshit again. When it's like, oh, the adults in the room have the same policies as the fucking babies. Okay, I actually don't care. I know she brought it up earlier, and I know it's a really big story, and it's so horrific that it happened. Right? I don't actually care that Tory MPs partied in Downing Street during the pandemic. I don't care that much about that. Right? Because whether they did or didn't has very little material effect on our lives. Sure, the attitude that it exposes, right, the attitude that Tories have towards these things is what drives the other policies that do harm. But the actual act of them just partying during the pandemic, I don't give a fuck. I care about the disabled people that had forced DNRs put on them during the fucking pandemic, right? The people that actually fucking died. Them partying didn't fucking kill anybody. Their policies did. And the idea that because the Tories are less civil than the fucking than the Labour Party, that somehow that's going to result in less people fucking dying, less people suffering, less people living in poverty, I think is fucking stupid. It's policy that fucking matters, not politeness.
Exactly. And a really good point in chat there saying, seeing how the adults in the room do without a credit boom economy for 11 years. That's very true. And again, like, you're absolutely right. There's the condescension that really gets my go. Because we do a little bit of condescension, like a fuller political lightweight, whatever, like, that's fine. It's just meaningless, like, insults for people who didn't really want to interact. But at least I try and at least understand the argument that they're putting forward. And I try and respond in terms of what I believe to be the flaws in that argument. They don't even pay attention to what our argument is. They don't bother engaging with the things that we're saying and the reasons we have for doing what we do. They just say, oh, you're critiquing Starmer. Why don't you get with the program? We're getting on with the job. We're the real people doing the real action. you're just babies whining about Starmer Man bad. And I'm just like, this is just at the very least treat us with the respect to try and understand our arguments and interact with them in good faith. But they don't come here in good faith.
Arguments are ideology. I don't have an ideology. I just want to destroy the
Yeah.
Tories.
Yeah, literally.
Failed yet. The results in 2 local election campaigns in which they suffered catastrophic losses is proof of that. We will win this, it's just a case of how bad it will be for those bastards that have spent 14 years destroying our country.
Oh, sure. Oh, okay.
Why
Okay, fine. So you already admit that the election's fucking sealed. You already admit that the election is won already, and all that matters is how big the majority is. So after all of this, oh, you're a Tory enablers. After all of this in the fucking video, all of this, she then admits and saying, well, actually, I just want a massive Labour, like dictatorial style majority, one-party state. And if you don't give me one party state, then you're just a bad ideological person. Fuck this, idiot. I'm sorry. After all of that, to then say that she just agrees that the election's done and dusted regardless of what the left
It's funny. It's funny.
that's so tilting. That's so
I chose
tilting.
I chose the 2 videos that I did, almost particularly because one, I knew that this is basically addressed to people like us, right?
Yeah.
This video.
Yeah.
So I feel like we should engage with it. If we're going to engage with her at all, we should engage with the shit that's addressed to us, right? But also, the way this video ends with like, well, we're going to fucking win anyway, right? I think leads perfectly into the next video, which is her directly contradicting that statement.
conservative estimate is extinction. Da 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 da. Stop the Tories.
Oh God.
Literally, and literally the fact that she says, I just want to make them cry. Again, it's that's the childish opinion. Isn't I want to make the society a better place by implementing these policy. It's just, I think it's super bad that I thought it'd be funny if we watch Tories get sad. I like Tories being sad. I will vicariously enjoy that for like 5 minutes during election night, watching Tories lose their seats from like, 15,000 majorities. Although I'll get some amount of small enjoyment out of that, and then immediately it will hit that we've got 5 more years of West Streeting on my computer screen, and I'm just going to be very sad afterwards.
So it's the intellectual fucking integrity and consistency that these fucking people lack. Because on one hand, they will be like, we've got the election locked down, right? And on the, depending on who they're talking to, it's either we've got the election locked down or you're a piece of shit, you're going to get the Tories to win the election. Which fucking is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
And apparently she doesn't fucking know either.
Would you say that her analysis is politically a little bit lightweight?
It's a little lightweight. She is a bit
hipster analysis.
A little bit. Okay, so this was from a couple of months ago. We may remember we covered it on the stream, Chatterino.
It was 2 weeks ago, wasn't it?
Well, it says 2 months,
2 months ago.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's
very small for me. I can't read.
I mean, this is part of my big mega Owen Jones derangement syndrome video response, where I respond to 5 different people. So we both already watched this, but if your point here, if I bring up this video in particular, is she says it's in the bag, but also in this video she's trying to scare people into tactical voting because she thinks that it's not a foregone conclusion.
It's not my only point. Like, I think there's a lot that she says in this video that's worth addressing as well. I just said that I thought that the last video was a perfect lead into this because it's her offering completely the opposite to what she literally just said. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Dystopia warning, obviously. As many of you will know, Owen Jones shockingly left the Labour Party the other day after months and months and months and months and months of writing articles about how rubbish Labour is. I didn't see it coming myself, personally. He then released a pretty lengthy video in which he promoted a campaign called We Deserve Better, which is essentially crowdfunding to elect more green independent candidates. All right, fair enough. No indication.
Yeah, that is fair enough, yeah.
Also, somebody pointing out that Tan makes a living out of this because she's an activist. I mean, that's technically what I do. I make a living out of this as well. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I saw a bunch of leftoids on Twitter mocking Super Tansy for having a Patreon. So, the divorce stands are all contributing to Patreon. Funny joke. I agree. It's definitely a funny joke. But no, at the end of the day, if people want to give her money because they enjoy her content, then that's fine. That's what people do in my chat. I'm not
I think it's fine if you're going to devote yourself to activism, and other people want to enable you to do that by making sure that you have enough money to fucking live. That's fine by me. Right.
Yeah, but they're trying to. But I put somebody, literally the person who was in Tansky's Instagram comments, getting mad at me about being, wanting people to vote for the Green Party. This person literally tried to imply that I was a grifter because I make money on Twitch for attacking the Labour Party, and I'm just like, do you not think there's more money in me just calling the Tories cockwombles, like using compound swear words, and then just like not engaging? Like, do you think there's more money in that, or in like sober Marxist analysis?
No, we're both fucking trans. Okay, if we wanted to grift, we'd just like start bashing trans people. Trans people bashing trans people. There is a huge market for them out there.
It's true. It's
You
like
can make
CPAC
so
immediately
much
on the
money.
phone.
Look,
Absolutely.
It's like the
I could call up Joe Rogan tomorrow. And be
pulling
like,
a fucking let's say flicking the Blair White switch is a very
very
profitable move. Yes.
It's the three lucrative careers for trans people. It is leftist video essayist, anti-trans, trans iconoclast, or OnlyFans.
Yeah.
That's it.
Pretty much.
Those are the options. Yes.
And I wouldn't get too
Of how that
excited about OnlyFans. Only a very small amount of people make enough money to live off OnlyFans. Yeah.
True.
money will be distributed though. And also, a number of the points that he raised in that video I found to be markedly disingenuous. I personally do not like Owen Jones, no, because of his conduct towards me online. To be fair, we've sparred a fair bit, but largely we stay out of each other's way nowadays. This has got nothing to do with my personal dislike of him. It's also got nothing to do with his stance on Gaza. This is to do with the fact that I see a lot of holes in what he had to say.
What
This also does
problems
not
she got
mean
with
that
his stance on Gaza?
Well, Israel has a right to defend herself because Keith said so. So that's fine or something.
I mean,
Also,
I
by the
think
way,
Israel probably does have a right to defend itself, but
No,
Well,
herself, please.
I tell you what we need to defend ourselves from, though, being poor. And if you want to help us defend ourselves against being poor,
Okay, that's a lovely segue. Go for it.
Yeah, you can subscribe. You can subscribe on Twitch for $4.99 or for free with Twitch Prime by linking Amazon Prime to your Twitch account for a free sub every single month, courtesy of Jeff Bezos. If you are a Prime subscriber, you also drop bits. 100 for text to speech on my end, 200 for text to speech on.
You
Kev's
can
end.
drop cluster bits. Let's go.
If you want messages read out, you can super chat on mine and Kev's channel for specific message you want read out. You can also gift memberships. It's $2.99 on Kev's channel, 99p on mine to become a member or to gift memberships, and that gets you access to a bunch of extra bonuses over on YouTube if you want to support the channel in that fashion. And also Viv has Patreon and I believe Cash App as well if you want to throw money Viv's way too if you want to support the streams.
yeah,
Or
it's all there
Viv-
in their
or-
Twitter
or
profile.
Viv's Twitter account, yeah.
I cannot believe that segue. That's amazing.
That's pretty good.
that was-
We were talking about grifting.
See,
I think it's the problem is I can't even say I'm protecting myself from being poor anymore, because once my check from Wizards of the Coast clears, I'll have more money than I've ever had in my bank account in my fucking life.
Oh, nice.
yeah,
What are you getting that for?
millionaire. She's a millionaire now. You know that.
I mean, it's $1,200, but like I got that from I came 20th out of 810 at the Magic the Gathering European Regional Championship.
Oh, nice. Well, I happen to live so far below the fucking poverty line that it's very doubtful that any of you are going to send me enough money to save me from poverty, but you can at least buy me some fags and pizza. So, that'll be based.
yeah, fair enough.
I think that Labour should not be held
Sorry.
accountable.
Please pause 1 sec, sorry. So someone sent an incredible just bits message in my chat for some reason, which isn't going to text to speech thing because I had fuck in it. But there's someone in my YouTube chat who once at one point said, "Sorry, but how the fuck can you be a leftist and use Amazon or Google for that matter? Saying fuck often does not make a leftist. Do you understand
Yes,
that?" From Aotearoa.
I do
Bits message.
remember that. Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you, Rohack. I love the fact that you actually managed to remember the entire message. Perfect.
Let's make that into a copy pasta. That needs to be a copy pasta.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And thank you for the 5 gifted Callum over on YouTube as well too. Thank you for the support.
They of course should, but maybe, I don't know, wait for a manifesto to be released? Or, I don't know, maybe take into account the fact that Labour is navigating an extremely hostile media landscape that's heavily weighted in terms of
Keir Starmer has had one of the easiest rides of any political party leader in modern times.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, going back to like the lack of scrutiny on the GB energy stuff, is not even bothering to do it. On top of that, wait till the manifesto comes out. Okay, so then all our leverage is gone.
Yeah.
Like if we say that, we'll go by what they've told us they're going to do, make your manifesto good or we won't vote for you, and you just say we'll vote for you regardless. Just give me a manifesto and I'll decide then. Now that's when your leverage is gone when the manifesto is released.
Yep.
Tory bias, or the fact that the Overton window has shifted so far right, or I don't know, the reality that, you know, many parties...
Keir Starmer's been a part of that, though. What are you talking about? Fuck me, was it this far right when the Jam Man was in? No. He's moved it further right.
Well, literally, Boris Johnson was the most left-wing Conservative Prime Minister since Edward Heath.
From a more central position. We are trying to deal with a government here that is trying to...
I would like to actually, I would reverse that comment. He's the floppy hair Brexit bad man. Therefore, he's basically fascism. It doesn't matter if he wants to build hospitals or level up the north or have a conversion therapy ban or increase benefits in line with inflation or have a green industrial revolution or build more houses or build HS2 because he did the Brexit and that makes him a fascist. Like that's how these people think, really and truly. Because again, like trying to imply this man was a conservative, when he just wasn't. He was a narcissist. He was a terrible human being and a piece of shit. But conservative, he was not.
Well, did you say? Oh God, Plaid Cymru, God bless them. Because obviously they know that Welsh independence isn't really on the table. Their whole thing in this general election campaign is we're going to say the uncomfortable thing, Brexit. So their whole thing is just going to be we're the anti-Brexit party or whatever. And you're like, really? Is that what you're going with? Do you think people give a fuck at this point? Like we've moved past that now, surely. It's just liberal brain rot at this point. Brexit, honestly, Brexit's become a byword for either far right brain rot, like fucking Farage or whatever, or like liberal fucking brainwormage.
Well, literally, it's like, again, if Brexit hadn't happened, the country would be absolutely fine. I mean, even Femi is past this point now, where he says, well, Brexit is bad, it's making people poor, but like austerity was terrible, and that's what's really bad. I'm holding Keir Starmer to account. Like, Femi is off the Starmer train.
Femi's getting a little bit based recently, I have to say.
He's actually engaging in the material relationships going on. He's like, Femi, he gets thumbs up from me, even if he's a bit memey, like, driving to Hull at 4 a.m. to stop Brexit.
That was amazing. That makes me love him more because that's so delightfully mental but innocent.
Exactly, it's like a real kind of like Partridge driving to Dundee moment. But like at the end of the day, Femi is actually putting in real, genuine analysis of the situation. Like he debated Graham Hughes on this as well. It was an interesting discussion. That's fine. But Femi's doing more than these people.
You're still Brexit brained as well. Why? I mean, look, don't get me wrong. Brexit bad. We know that. But like, it's done, and B, it's not coming back in the next 10 years. Let's say Brexit isn't going to be an actionable political policy area. Nothing's going to change in that regard.
Yeah, and the fundamental problems were present both pre and post Brexit. Sure, Brexit has made these things worse. It's exacerbated the problem. But fundamentally, there were riots in the streets in 2011 because of cutbacks and because of the breaking down of the social kind of contract in this country. And that was all pre-Brexit.
Yeah.
Like, sure. I mean, my position on the EU is if we were allowed to come back in whilst keeping the pound, probably worth it. But if we have to adopt the euro, just let it go. Just stay out the European Union. Try and do something that is better than what we got before, even though it won't be, but try and make the best of it.
Yeah. Are you saying make Brexit work?
I'm literally saying make Brexit work. But
Tick it off.
Yeah, making Brexit work was always going to be like a left wing, like a leftist political project of trying to break out of the neoliberal kind of framework that the EU forces upon you, rather than working best from within it. And now we have the worst of both worlds.
Did you grow up in a Pebble Dash semi? Because if that, I've got a line. No.
No.
Legislate against objective reality, and we're also trying to get rid of populism. Basing your views of the future Labour government on baseless, fearful predictions as if you're some kind of mystic Meg just feels a bit weird to me, considering we're in an actual emergency.
I hate this shit. Oh, you can predict what Labour are going to do in government. No, I guess not. But we can listen to what they say they're going to do.
Also, it's this mythic.
Go on.
It's this mythical world they live in where Starmer is just lying to everybody and is going to do this super saiyan socialist reveal where he becomes that bit in the Simpsons where it stops being Russia and they turn the sign round and it says Soviet Union on the front, as if they think this is going to happen. I'm just no, they're doing insane things.
That's the mystical fucking mystic Meg bullshit. They're thinking that you can see through a crystal ball when we're just taking the party at its word, looking at the actions that they're committing, the people that they're putting in various positions and what they're saying, who the shadow cabinet are, right, and going, well, this looks like it's
campaign
going kind of
material.
right ways.
But a fundamental issue here that you have the whole democratic process is based upon deciding before the election who to fucking vote for. So how else are we supposed to do that but by predicting what we think they might fucking do when they get into power? Well,
you
obviously,
have to do the reasonable thing and just believe and have faith in the red ribbon.
would someone do that? Would a politician get on TV and just lie to me? Surely not.
Absolutely. And on top of that as well, she says, oh, we want to get rid of populism. No, I am a populist. I am a left-wing I believe in populism. This is why, again, because they hate populism. They think it's conspiracy theory if you point out the hedge fund managers, investment bankers, and Israeli lobbyists are the ones literally bankrolling the Starmer Politburo. It's clear as day. It's clear as day who does the funding and whose interests are being served and who's expecting return on investment. But to point this out, it's like engaging in conspiracy theory stuff. It's like such shallow analysis because there are elites in control and we want them gone. We want a popular movement of people.
I mean, that's the shit that
yeah.
What was it? Sarah Shaheen or whatever got kicked for saying the phrase the Israel lobby or whatever, which you know, hey, you might not know me, I'm Viv, I'm an anti-fascist, I spent a long time like punching Nazis and shit, and I you know, I'm not a big fan of anti-Semitism, and
so you're the tolerant left, are you? Mm-hmm.
I'm not tolerant at all. But I do not tolerate fucking bigotry of any kind, but so I understand these tropes, right? And I understand how, and it seems to me, I think it's reasonable to say that the hollow idea of the anti-Semitic trope is being weaponized and used to just expel anybody who tries to bring up the fact that like there are actually groups who have Israel, not Jewish people, but Israel's interests in mind. That have a significant amount of power within the Labour Party. Do they control the Labour Party like puppet mask? No. They do the same kind of lobbying that everybody else fucking does, right? But it's very reasonable, I think, to point out that there are quite a few of those groups, Labour Friends of Israel, what's the other one? I forget, the other big one, whatever. There are quite a few of those groups, and not really that many no groups I can think of off the top of my head that are advocating for the interests of like Palestinians, right? In the same way, I think it's reasonable to point that out. Yeah. So that phrase, the Israel lobby, like always causes a little bit of a fucking furore, and it can be used in an anti-Semitic way. I think there's a lot of people who are accusing people of using it in an anti-Semitic way when they're just pointing out the very obvious truth that Labour Friends of Israel exist.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and Faiza Shaheen got done because she liked a tweet that had a video clip from Jon Stewart on The Daily Show.
Yeah.
So she got criticised because apparently she tweeted out, or she liked a tweet involving a Jewish man talking about Israel. But that's anti-Semitic now. Apparently, Jon Stewart is literally
in a hilarious turn of events. What happened to her was essentially what Jon Stewart was lampooning in the video.
Yeah, literally,
yeah.
See right now with the Tories, yeah. In an ideal world, what Jones is promoting is fair, but then it gets a bit awkward when first past the post enters the chat, doesn't it? If our political system and our voting system
you haven't
was
thought about it, stupid lefty.
I'd probably support it, but
tactical voting is so fucking smart and intelligent, and you're dumb for wanting to vote for things that you care about.
Well, that's just student politics, giving a fuck about stuff.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude. I'm so sick of the condescension. It's so fucking stupid, dude. Especially when these are the most vapid, stupid, fucking naive analyses that you can get in politics, and they have the fucking gall to condescend to people who are actually doing proper political analysis.
Would you say that she's a political lightweight?
I would say that she's a political lightweight, absolutely.
Fair enough.
And he knows very well that first past the post limits the extent to which your vote counts and matters. So it's an absolutely futile entry.
So fuck it, give up any tiny amount of power you have and just roll over and take it. Woo! Fuck off.
Prize, not in terms of intention or good intention necessarily, but in terms of practicality. Wanting more Green and independent MPs, not a bad thing, no. But it's not workable necessarily. Unless, of course, you sign up to stopthetories.vote and you vote tactically to try and get more progressive MPs elected. There's already a campaign to do that.
Progressive MPs you're electing.
Yeah. I'm sorry, getting Luke Akehurst elected is not progressive. That's not a progressive move, I'm sorry, no.
Yeah, exactly. Because the Stop the Tories.vote place will tell you to vote for Labour in North Durham, and you will get We Believe in Israel director into fucking Parliament, being there to lobby for the interests of a foreign fucking state.
Yep.
Running it. Right. Now, in terms of this upcoming election, it is crucial, right? It's an emergency. One of the most crucial in modern times, I would say. We have a BNP stroke National Front Conservative government that's directly contributed to the deaths of over 350,000 people through COVID and austerity. I tell you every time I make a video about what the government is doing to the people of this country. Killing them, stealing...
Right, but just saying Tories bad isn't enough. Why should I vote for your set of fucking wankers to be in the control of situation?
I mean, you just
Like,
have
it's
to
not
convince
enough.
me that you have to convince me that Labour aren't going to be doing similar or the same, right? Even if you say, oh, they're marginally better. Well, I don't want to vote for the people who kill 300,000 versus the people who kill 350,000. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, both of these are fucking atrocities.
But didn't you see the clip from Gordon Brown from 20 years ago saying stuff? Isn't that convincing in 2024?
No, it really isn't.
Oh.
And like I said, I laughed my fucking tits off when she brought up that clip because I thought that's fucking ridiculous. Why would you not show me Starmer? Why would you not show me the current Labour Party if you want to argue that the current Labour Party is so different from the Tories? Why do you have to go back 10 fucking years?
Yeah.
Like, that, if anything, that is more telling than anything that she fucking knows. Like, I hate to just call somebody a liar to their fucking face, right? But like, it shouts to me that she fucking knows. She couldn't find Starmer being that different from the Tories, so she had to go back to fucking Gordon Brown 10 fucking years ago to try and make this stupid fucking point.
Yeah.
Exactly. I also want to point out, first of all, excellent Twitch name, woke CIA drone pilot.
Nice.
And again, points out like they're completely avoiding like all of the millions that were killed under Blair. Like it's so myopic. I also want to point out
True,
as well,
but most of those
like,
were Iraqis, so why should we care? You know?
I just want to point out as well is that they keep saying the point that she made, well, if we tactically vote, it'll have more progressive MPs. Look, this is not stop the Tories.vote because, funnily enough, she keeps saying everyone should go to stop the Tories.vote. They've not even put up their fucking predictions yet. They've not even put up their suggested votes on stop the Tories.vote. So I've had to go to tactical vote instead, which is a different one, but done by people she's not associated with. And look, and here, like Leicester South, where we're canvassing next weekend, it says to vote tactical here, vote Labour. Because they've just took the 2019 result and then gone Tories in second, Labour in first. You should vote for Jonathan Ashworth, quote, as your progressive, quote, massive air quotes, progressive MP. When if you look at the MRP polling, Greens are in second. Well, this is a problem with the tactical voting websites, because if you look at Bristol, if you look at this one for like Bristol or whatever it was, if you look at like a Bristol postcode, it actually does tell you to tactically vote Green to advantage the progressive smaller parties. Like this one does, but I'm sure Stop the Tories.vote won't do it. Like again, she can't even guarantee there being progressives because it's telling you to vote for non-progressive members of parties that just happen to be slightly less right-wing than the Conservative Party.
Yeah. Also, again, why did you bring up John Ashworth and dox Vivian Woolf like that? That's Jesus.
Is that a bad empanada live stream there? It fucking is. Jesus Christ.
Oh, in my recommendeds, yeah. It would appear so.
Are you a big bad enchilada fan?
No, but I do watch his stuff because he's a crazy cunt.
He is a fucking deranged racist.
I think
piece
his
of shit.
I think his video essays are pretty good. I just think on Twitter and on probably his live streams as well. I've not watched his live streams, so I don't know. Probably is on Twitter. Certainly is absolutely completely insane off his rocker. But like his video about like self-determination, his video about like the history of neoliberalism, for example.
His
like,
vid- his
I think
honestly,
his videos-
his video on Argentina's dictatorship through Argentine cinema is genuinely very, very good. I learned some shit on that. And you think, how can someone who makes thoughtful, well put together videos like that be such a crazy cunt? I don't understand how those two people
Not
exist.
just crazy. He's just straight up like his rhetoric is like straight up genocidal, racist.
Yeah.
Like he's a nasty fucking.
Didn't
piece
he
of
put
work.
up a vote on his Twitter about should every Israeli citizen be killed?
Yeah, I commented on it the other day.
Yeah.
I was
He's
like,
now this is red triangle posting.
Yeah, that's grim. That's grim. Don't
Yeah.
do that. Yeah.
But also on top
Marring
of
our
that as well,
entire-
like I just want to point out somebody in chat who said that they said that I don't think Siputansky is smart enough or is that an intellectual to warrant this level of scrutiny. And you know what? I think you're right. I don't think he's intellectual enough to warrant this level of scrutiny. But these are the arguments that you hear verbatim from everybody else from this clique of politics. And
Yeah.
it's unfortunate for Siputansky that she is the one who's facing all of our ire. Again, I don't have hate in my heart for her. I think that she broadly is better than a lot of the other people from this kind of sphere of politics. It's fine.
Sure.
But she just happens to be like the vector with which we are receiving the vast majority of these arguments that we want to debunk.
Hey, look, she's just the fucking person who decided to throw this shit at me and condescend to me the other day on Twitter, okay? That's the only reason we're fucking doing this, alright? She
Fight.
started it.
Fight.
Actually, I probably
political system.
started it by commenting on her shit than calling her a hack. But she's...
She started by fucking existing as an annoying prick. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Them in corruption, right? They are dangerous authoritarians. Now, it's Owen's view that the Tories are automatically toast, and he bases that on the polling, the current polling, which are showing large gains for Labour at the moment, but the polls will tighten as we get closer to a general election.
That hasn't happened. It's in fact actually the opposite.
The opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. The polls have gotten wider ever since Rishi Sunak announced the campaign in the rain and then said they're going to send like kids off to fucking national service. Ooh, the polls tanked. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I mean, again, it's just perfect. The first place he went to was the Titanic dockyard.
By the way, national
Genius.
service is slavery. Mandatory national service is slavery.
Yeah, but it's mandatory, but they're not going to actually force you to do anything. But it is mandatory, but they're not going to force you, but it is mandatory.
Well, I mean, you get locked out of a particular job market if you don't do it.
But it's mandatory, but it's not mandatory, but it is mandatory.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, it's just a stupid idea that they hadn't thought through. That's like a 2 a.m. fucking come down from a night out idea that then you don't tell people again.
Well,
ever.
do you know what?
Don't.
I think they just wanted to wrestle the headlines away from Labour.
And they did
and
by everyone going,
did.
"This is a fucking stupid idea."
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did. And then Labour wrestled the headlines away from the Tories by engaging in a Stalinist purge of left-wing members and going after Diane Abbott, which was nuts to me because like the Tories were busy shooting themselves in the foot in the headlines, and so Labour were like, I can shoot myself in the foot harder.
Yeah.
Oh jeez. Whoever wins this election, it will just literally be the person who shot themselves in the foot less. The person with one raggedy, straggly, scraggly scrap of toe remaining. You know. That one's in
And the kind of results that are being projected by a number of polls are not guaranteed to hold if you're telling everyone to vote for a party that's got no hope of getting rid of the Tory in that constituency. So the left vote could be split and the Tories sneak it over the line. You've also got to take into account that the Tories are pulling tricks like...
I've said this before, but like at the end of the day, lots of these seats, that's not going to happen because Labour are going to be absolutely barnstorming through huge swathes of the electorate. As all the polls show and have continued to show, there's been no electoral tightening. Even Opinion, who take electoral tightening into account in their polls, have Labour 20 points ahead and on course for the biggest majority of all time. Like the issue here, the big issue that we need to be that this misses is that again, all you're doing is you're just deliberately trying to funnel votes into Labour so that we again lose loads of campaign funding for genuinely progressive parties for the future. Otherwise the Greens are going to sit around on a fucking threadbare budget.
Yeah.
Which he
Break-
could do without risking a Tory win.
True.
He is so desperate to get her
Breaking-
not to stand.
Breaking news, according to the Times, which used to be a paper of record, but so just take it with a pinch of salt. Diane Abbott has been offered a peerage, so that would be a seat in the House of Lords, in order for her to quit as a candidate for the general election. So, yeah, he's really desperate to get rid of her. Basically, shuffle her off to the Lords, where she's not actually visible or that annoying, or she probably won't turn up most of the fucking time. You imagine, yeah, brilliant, brilliant, just fucking excellent. Well done, Keith.
I fucking hate the House of Lords anyway because it's
it shouldn't exist
by nature
yeah.
an unelected house.
Yeah,
but like, you know, the continued denigration of the purpose of the House of Lords through these politically motivated appointments. We criticized Boris Johnson for it, right? And I know this isn't the same as putting one of your cronies in there, but it's essentially like, oh, I'll give you a peerage if you do something politically good for my party.
yeah.
Like,
well, that's actually, this is the you know what, Rohak, you raise a good point. This might be the only way in which he actually gets rid of the House of Lords. If he has to actually follow through and give Diane Abbott a peerage, that might actually force him to abolish the House of Lords instead.
give her
Sure.
a peerage and then abolish it 2 months later.
Yes,
That would be very Starmer-right, wouldn't it?
It would. But you know what? I'd be here for it. That would be a positive policy that we could all get behind, I think. But anyway, yeah. So that's breaking news. Assuming that it's news at all, which it might not be because
She's listed as the candidate on the Labour website. Like, she wants to be in Parliament. The same like that Jeremy Corbyn just wanted to be in Parliament. Like, they want to serve their constituents. You know, the fucking job of an MP.
True, but she could be a Baroness Abbott of Stoke Newington. What a thing that would be. Come on now.
I wonder how much Diane Abbott cares about that. That's the question. She probably does want a spot on the Lords eventually, but I don't know how much.
No, I don't think she does. I don't think she does.
Well, I mean, to be honest, she's old enough now where you feel like I don't know what else she would do. Like, surely a seat in the House of Lords when I think she wanted to stand this time, but then probably next time she'd be old enough where you think, like, does she want to carry on or not? And the Lords is like a good place to go and retire as a politician, really, isn't it?
I would like to see her say, "Go fuck yourself" to Keir Starmer, and then go
Run as independent anyway. Yeah,
like her election. Run as an independent. Yeah.
Well, they've come out and said that she can run as a candidate. It's just that now they're desperately trying to coax her into not being the candidate. But they had to.
Yeah,
they were embarrassed in the public sphere so much that they had to, they had to allow her to be a candidate.
Yeah, it's a real mess, but I genuinely do not think that she wants to see in the House of Lords, given the people that she managed to rally around her to want to be the MP. So I will be your MP, whether it's Labour or not. Like, it clearly looks to me like she is willing. She wants to be there to serve her constituents, which again, like, so did Corbyn for the same reason.
I think you have a lot more faith in her than I do. I don't think she's that brilliant a person that she wouldn't be swayed by something like that.
Fair enough. Maybe you're right.
And look, I'd like to be proven wrong. I'd love her for her to go and win her election and lead the from the back benches a revolt against Keir Starmer. That'd be wonderful. But the easy way out for her would be to take the peerage. That would be the path of least resistance, and she'd have no political effectiveness. But we'll see.
Like this, right? Deliberately disenfranchising voters, bringing in voter ID to put another roadblock in the way, mostly disenfranchising the poor and people of colour in this country who may not have voter ID. The Tories are not guaranteed to lose, whether it's via disenfranchising voters with ID.
Do we know, has Sir Keith said that he's going to get rid of the voter ID stuff?
He has explicitly ruled out getting rid of the voter ID.
Oh, what a fucking cunt. What's the point of that? He must know that doesn't serve himself at all well, right? He must know that. Even just on a self-preservation base or on a self-interest basis, you'd get rid of it. You dopey cunt. Like, how desperate is he to fucking to suckle upon fucking Murdoch's wrinkly old ballsack? Really, it's embarrassing. It really is. He's just a fucking Tory. I'm sorry. I'm not playing this stupid game with Tansky. He's a fucking Tory. He's not going to roll back any of the evil shit they've done, including the fucking puberty blocker stuff this week. They're not going to fucking overturn that.
Yeah, where Streeting explicitly said that it was a good thing. And that's who these people want in charge of trans people's healthcare. Like,
fuck him. He's a Tory then. Fuck him. I'm not voting for this cunt. You're not part of the Progressive Alliance. You, Tansky, are the Tory enabler.
there's RD Hale from Council State Media tweeted this out, and I retweeted it because I 100% agree, which is that stop telling me I'm splitting the left vote by not voting Labour. Labour are not part of the left vote. I am not their vote. I am not. This is not a part of a coalition that I am with. They are not representations of the left. I am not splitting the left. You are splitting the centre by saying to vote Labour over the Tories. You are splitting the right by wanting to vote Labour over the Tories. I am here voting for left-wing candidates because I'm from the left. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't want them to get any. I don't want to get any votes. I don't want them to get anything because I don't think that they represent politics that I want to have represented in government. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Just chucking them off the electoral roll, or literally moving the goalposts with boundary changes, plus the stranglehold that they have on the information sources like most of the press. It is absolutely far from in the bag, and we can't treat it like it's in the bag, because that's how the Tories sneak in and they con a win again. Now, Jones, and unfortunately the Greens are promoting this whole vote with your heart strategy, right?
Well, I mean, you can watch whatever. I don't know. Did you have something else you wanted to do?
It's very grating now. But I mean, at the end of the day, because that again, she tries to claim we're voting with our heart, which is again just not the case.
Yeah.
Except that doesn't work under our current voting system, and I think it's pretty disingenuous to not make that clear to people. If we had voter reform or some kind of PR, knock yourself out, but we don't. It's too high risk, and the sad fact of the matter is this is a two-party system, and this is not the time to be squabbling about ideology.
It's not. We lived through the fucking coalition phase. That wasn't that long ago. So it's clearly not a two-party system, is it? Third parties can get involved in government and affecting the makeup of Parliament. The SNP have had an enormous impact on parliamentary, not ergonomics, what am I talking about? The practicalities of it all. Yeah, we're literally talking now about the Tories maybe not even being the official opposition. I think they still will, but it's not guaranteed. So it's not a two-party system. Stop lying to people.
Ideology. Now, Blair and Brown had this exact same problem in the lead up to the 1997 election when they changed their party, right? They had the old left saying that they were too far to the right, too centrist, and they ended up...
And they just did an illegal war. Yeah, cool.
One of the things, and again, at the very least, right? First of all, there was no Blairite purge. We talked about this with Sean earlier. There was no Blairite. The Blairites didn't purge the left. They just sidelined them because they weren't relevant to the political project. Like people like Robin Cook and Claire Shaw were in like the cabinet or whatever. And on top of that, Tony Blair, after John Smith died, explicitly and sincerely ran on a right-wing platform to become the leader, to try and win people over by moving on from John Smith's one last push tactic to get elected post-Kinnock in 92. He said, we want to change the Labour Party and modernise it by getting rid of Clause 4, and the membership supported it and voted him on that principle, and he followed through with it sincerely. And you know what? That's fine. I don't like it, but it's the democratic will of the Labour membership. Whatever. Starmer lied to everybody. He lied to everybody. He changed his positions. He purged people when he said that he wouldn't. He's a disgraceful, deceitful piece of shit. And so is everybody in his Politburo. They disgust me. They disgust me for the things that they've done to what should be the Labour movement. Like, Tony Blair had buy-in from the unions. You may not have had buy-in from like the socialist wing of the Labour Party, like parliamentary party or whatever, but the unions bought into it and were happy to go along with it. And Starmer is fighting the unions, he's fighting the members, and he sold the Labour Party to professional managerial class people who think that they know better than everybody else, and rich motherfuckers from the banking and private capital industry. It's disgraceful.
He literally sacked Sam Tarry for going and standing on a fucking picket line, for God's sake. It's ridiculous.
I'll say it. It's exhausting to be bullied and shamed by centrists because you won't vote for the empty suit of a candidate when they won't expand the same energy to change the party line instead.
So apartheid profiteers.
Yeah.
It's fucking depressing.
I think you mean wealth creators. Please.
Brown, one of the most redistributive governments since the war. Yeah, millions of
go.
elderly people and...
What?
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't expecting this to take so long.
What did you think was going to happen? We've only been going 2 hours. What the fuck?
2 hours is quite long.
I've been going for 3.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you want to just stop then?
Oh, I think we've got through most of the bits you wanted to cover, Viv.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I feel like an asshole now.
All right.
I can stay a bit longer if you
No,
like.
no,
Just,
Viv, no. Heaven forbid we put you out in your fucking heavy social schedule. Jesus.
Oh, I'm
No, I'm only joking. No, you're fine.
gonna go watch Godzilla -1 with a friend.
There was a clip actually somebody in chat wanted to post from Phil from a different bias doing something talking about the Diane Abbott thing. It's only a minute and a bit clip. If you want to pop it on, Kev, we shall save the ears of our listeners without having to go through like another hour of Supertansky or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, like honestly, I mean, I think we've said all we can about this fucking loser anyway. It's
also that's a good point, Jim, as well. Apparently she said that Blair and Bowen were the most redistributive since the war, when first of all Clement Attlee, and also the Gini coefficient in the UK was at its highest under the Labour government.
mm-hmm.
Yes. 1 second.
Tim's talking about Pfizer Shine deselected at the last minute. Why? It depends what your question is. If you're asking why was she deselected at the last minute, that's a cock up. Shouldn't have been at the last minute. If you're asking why she was deselected,
No, whoa. Pause.
So apart from any,
it wasn't a cock up. It wasn't. It was deliberate. It was deliberately done at the last minute to try and ensure that there was no point where she could do legal challenges or anything like that.
Yep.
In fact, it was even told she went public and said specifically that the NEC had already made the decision weeks ago, but deliberately waited as long as possible, probably to like be needlessly cruel and hurt her while she was campaigning and looking after her child, but also so that it was as close to the election as possible, so they could parachute in somebody and bypass the CLP. The fact that Phil doesn't know this, like he is very intimately aware about the internal workings of the Labour Party. He 100% knows this and is absolutely 100% lying. I guarantee it to you, chat.
Yeah.
Just like Diane Abbott, because Starmer was fucking raging about that getting leaked too early, right? For them. Yeah, I was fucked. Anyway,
Also,
okay.
I think
I'm gonna
this has been
go.
sped up. Go for it. No, we're seeing
I love all of you.
stuff.
Have fun. Thank you for letting me do this, Gav. I feel like I've had my vengeance.
Okay. Everyone go and follow Viv on the various platforms and go over to her Patreon and be very generous.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Mix Vivian Wolf on all the platforms. Also, Kev, can you put this in 0.7 times 11.5 speaks? I think they've sped it up when they've recorded it to fit it for a Twitter clip.
Okay.
Bye.
See ya.
anything else, like people are saying, oh, because she liked this comedy skit from America. No, that's a bit like, if a kid gets in trouble at school and, and they come out, oh, why did you get into trouble at school? I had an argument. They gave me detention just for having an argument with Jimmy. And it turns out this argument involved punching Jimmy in the face, right? They miss out that little detail. The same thing happened in her case. So a few years ago, someone put it to her, which is international, is fact, by the way. If you target Jewish people for murder because they're Jewish, you're not just killing a Jewish person, you're killing them because they're Jewish, that is an anti-Semitic attack on them. It's an anti-Semitic murder.
Did she murder someone? What?
Deny that. If you say that targeting Jewish people...
What the fuck is it? What? I don't know I don't know what's happening there.
People because they're Jewish isn't anti-Semitism. That is, you are basically going against the established definition of anti-Semitism, right? And she did that, and she was recorded doing
Where did she do that?
When did this happen? What the fuck are you talking about? I don't know that's why I'm so confused. I was like, did she do a murder? What is this? So she denied that someone who was Jewish who was murdered for being Jewish was murdered because they were Jewish. Did this happen?
What?
What is he referring to exactly here? Because I've not even heard anything about this. All I've heard is the.
If she genuinely did that, then it's terrible if she said that. But where's the evidence that she said this?
Yeah, because all I've seen is the Jon Stewart bit. Right, hang on, Jon Stewart Twitter. Sorry, because I'm not on Twitter now. I have to actually go to the specific fucking thing. Otherwise, it doesn't.
Is the Twitter video able to go louder? By the way, people are asking.
No, it is not. Unfortunately.
Nice.
Because that's as loud as it goes. Sadly. Hang on, that's not. Is that actually Jon Stewart? I don't know if it is.
Do you do it on mainstream telly? So it's things like that, which, although it was a few years ago,
She's not on
given that
TV?
she has never shown any signs.
Yeah, when did this happen? And why was she allowed to stay in the party if this was the case?
Yeah, why was she not like again? You can have to post again. He always does. He did this in our debate where there was just said a bunch of things with zero receipts.
Yeah,
For any of these things. What?
He's
making a metaphor. He didn't say she tweeted that. What?
Yeah. So this is what actually happened to the other day. Hang on a minute. Where are we? Mehdi Hassan, fine British journalist who now lives and works in America, put, "Hey Jon Stewart, not sure if you're following the Jon Stewart-related news out of the UK, but Labour parliamentary candidate and Muslim woman Faiza Shaheen has been suspended tonight from the Labour Party for liking on Twitter this old Israel video skit of yours, right?" And then he responded with, "This is the dumbest thing the UK has ever done since electing Boris Johnson. What the actual fuck?"
So the specific thing that it was more complicated than that. Like the tweet in question was a long thread that had the video as the main thing, but the thing that she was specifically pulled up on was this idea that there was the tweet mentioned an Israel lobby, and that's true. Like there is an Israel lobby. That's like 100%. Every state, India has a lobby. Like Kiribati has a lobby.
America has NATO.
Suriname has a lobby. Like this is just how international politics works.
Well, exactly. I wouldn't want to be in the pocket of big Paramaribo. Fuck yeah.
Right, okay. Sarah says in chat, he was explaining what anti-Semitism was by saying that if you say these things, then you would be anti-Semitic. And then he said she did that, i.e. did anti-Semitism. He didn't explain what the anti-Semitism she did was. Right, okay, so he's obfuscating if Sarah's analysis of this is correct.
Well, no, but he specifically said, oh fuck, I got rid of the wrong bastard thing. Hang on a minute, I'll go back to the Discord and get it again. No, he specifically said that she'd said this on TV. So he's referring to a very specific, supposedly recorded piece of audiovisual evidence. Which, if that were true, why don't you show that? I mean, you have clearly the capability. You're doing a stream here or a video of some kind. Why not show us that? Because that would be very easy at that point, and you just go, look, here she is.
Strange.
Here she is denying the murder of a Jewish person. But you haven't.
Isn't anti-Semitism. That is, you are basically...
Yeah, they really did speed that up. Fuck my.
You're going against the established definition of anti-Semitism.
You go back and let's visit the whole thing again. I want to make sure I'm understanding what he's saying.
Yeah, okay. Right.
Tim's talking about Pfizer Shaheen deselected at the last minute. Why? It depends what your question is. If you're asking why was she deselected at the last minute, that's a cock-up. Shouldn't have been at the last minute. If you're asking why she was deselected... so apart from anything else, like people are saying, oh, because she liked this comedy skit from America. No, that's a bit like, if a kid gets in trouble at school and, and they come out, oh, why did you get into trouble at school? I had an argument. They give me detention just for having an argument with Jimmy. And it turns out this argument involved punching Jimmy in the face, right? They miss out that little detail. The same thing happened in her case. So a few years ago, someone put it to her, which is international, is fact, by the way. If you target Jewish people for murder because they're Jewish, you're not just killing a Jewish person, you're killing them because they're Jewish, that is an anti-Semitic attack on them. It's an anti-Semitic murder. And if you deny that, if you say that targeting Jewish people because they're Jewish isn't anti-Semitism, that is, you are basically going against the established definition of anti-Semitism, right? And she did that, and she was recorded doing it. She did it on mainstream telly. So it's.
Okay, where's the evidence of that happening? And also, why the fuck was she? If this happened years ago, why was she allowed to stay in the Labour Party under Keir Starmer for years as an anti-Semite?
I'm so confused. This is so...
Yeah, hang on. Pfizer, let's see if we can find any kind of what the fuck he's referencing.
Nah, but I think it'll all be like lost in a bunch of news stories about what the given reason was.
Yeah, probably, but I mean, you never know. At least, look, if we can find some sort of clip as to what he's even referencing here. Nothing offensive. Hang on, let's have a look. No, that's no. It's just it's all Jon Stewart stuff.
Well, let's finish the rest of the video and see what else. If there's anything.
Yeah. Okay. 1 second.
Things like that, which, although it was a few years ago, given that she has never shown any signs of changing her mind on it or apologised or anything like that, if anyone brought that up in the election campaign, that would cause a lot of problems for Labour, as you can imagine. So that is... Things like that are why she was deselected. Then, of course, she justified her deselection by going on 2 separate mainstream media programmes and attacking the concept of a Labour government. She didn't just attack her deselection. She specifically said a Labour government's going to be absolutely terrible. It's going to remove our civil liberties and all sorts. She said that. So that also just...
It's true. Yes, she's right.
Of course, her thugs vandalised...
What do you want to do? Fucking lie, Phil? Did you want her to lie by omission? You say, actually, this Keir Starmer person who's purged me and who's abandoned party democracy and lied to the membership and is just generally the representation of all the fucking worst people in politics. Do you want to just admit that after she got treated like fucking abysmally by the party? What the fuck are you talking about, Phil?
Yeah, why should she play nicey nice when you're literally fucking you've deselected her and called her a massive anti-Semite or whatever? I found a link.
Yeah, because again, like if what Phil is saying, that she said somebody who was murdered for being Jewish wasn't a victim of anti-Semitism. Like if he's genuinely being correct here, absolutely expulsion issue. That's clear anti-Semitism that she would have been engaging in. Absolutely, because it is an anti-Semitic murder, clearly by everyone's definition and by every normal definition. But of course, where's the evidence that she did this? Because that's again, that's literally that is beyond the pale if she's done that. But I've not seen this at all, and it wasn't even mentioned in the NEC motion.
Yeah. All I can find is literally a quote of her saying, if terrorists who hunt down and murder Jewish people for being Jewish are anti-Semitic. So literally the opposite of what he's saying, she said.
Well, bring up on screen. Let me see it.
Hang on 1 second, a minute. Phillips. Oh, that tweet's been deleted. Fuck me. Palestine Expo promotion of... Hang on a minute. Where are we? Where's the fucking quote? Hang on a minute. I have to do F5. 1 second. No, that... Oh, sorry. I'm fucking flustered now. Why wouldn't it do the... Hang on. Sorry, apologies everyone. I'm trying to find the fucking find tool and it won't happen. Hang on, do I have to need to stop sharing? Do you want to just talk for a second whilst I try and find what the fuck I'm doing?
I mean, people are saying, "Oh well, yeah, this is libelous from Phil." I'm just like, well, I'm really like, no, I hate like slap lawsuits and shit like that. Whatever. Like, I'm again, like, it's just a random like nobody YouTuber. I mean, obviously he's got 180,000 subscribers, but in the world of politics, he's still a nobody. Like, I'm not gonna. Yeah,
that's not a huge number, but I think it's enough that you really oughtn't do that. I think.
I mean, what you should be doing is just being held to account and then deleting and saying sorry if it's made up shit. Like again, it may well be true. I don't even know. Like at this point, it could well be true. You need to produce the receipts. But either put the receipts up or delete and say sorry. Like that's fine. Whatever. You don't have to bring out the fucking lawyers.
Oh, the video isn't available. Sorry. Okay, no. So I was wrong. According to a thing called NGO Monitor. It says, Faisal Shaheen, Labour parliamentary candidate and chair of a panel titled Media Honest Reporting, in 2018, Shaheen stated that it was not a fact that terrorists who hunt down and murder Jewish people for being Jewish is an anti-Semitism issue. But if you go to the link they provided, it's a video that doesn't exist anymore. So I'm really...
It's worth saying NGO Monitor is literally an arm of the Israeli government.
Well, there you go. That doesn't surprise me enormously.
Yeah, so the NGO Monitor are the people who will say like you can't donate money to Palestine Save the Children because they're Hamas or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, what does the link to? Is it a YouTube clip?
Yeah, it's a YouTube clip that's now been deleted, and the same is true with this. So there's another link from.
I mean, and then in which case Phil must be just this is either sharing something. He's seen the clip already, and it does say that was what he said, or he's looked at NGO Monitor, who don't have any actual evidence to back up their claims, and which gives pretty like moot. But I mean, it's concerning at the very least. But I always take people like NGO Monitor with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
But it's just like memory, which exists specifically to try and broadcast things with dodgy translations to paint the Palestinians as being worse than they actually are, even though they do most of the time have like selectively chosen clips or whatever it is.
Yeah. But as we can't even find the fucking clip anywhere, I'm just going to take it as read that this is fucking bullshit until I see otherwise.
I tell you what I'll do. NGO Monitor, Pfizer, Shaheen. Let me find it. Let's see if there's a web archive link of the clip that we're thinking here.
Okay.
NGO Monitor.
Because if she did say that, then that's obviously beyond the pale.
Yeah, absolutely. He stated it's a link to a YouTube clip, copy link address. There was not a fact that terrorists who hunt down and murder Jewish people is an anti-Semitism issue. Right. Archive.ph. Archive save snapshots. Nope, there's no archived URL of that. Let me try and take that up. No web archive whatsoever. Where was it at? It was at... So the actual website itself says it was at the Palestine Expo 2019. So if I sort of search Palestine Expo 2019,
well, they said, I mean, the only screenshot I've seen was from a Sky News bit, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. NGO Monitor is a right-wing non-governmental organisation based in Jerusalem that reports on international NGO activity from a pro-Israel perspective. Yep, that's about right. A revenue of 385 grand. Jesus Christ, where are they getting that money from? As of 2015, NGO Monitor Advisor Council members such as Elliot Abrams, who was the neocon hack who wanted to invade Venezuela under and was involved in the Iraq War, Alan Dershowitz, lol, Douglas Murray, and R. James Woolsey. So yeah, that's the kind of organisation NGO Monitor is.
It is separate. Again, I'm not going to just dismiss it as being Hasbro propaganda or whatever until I've seen the clip and I know what discussion is here. I'm going to remain ambivalent until I see the evidence because, again,
true.
Like, I'm
but
not
I just think it's interesting that an organisation that has Mr. Hitler, was it Germany, mucked up twice in a century, Douglas Murray on their fucking advisory account,
yeah.
wants to tell anyone else what anti-Semitism is. Okay, you know, just a thought for you.
There's also like I've just found a Times of Israel article about the expo in question. I'm trying to see if there's any links here.
Yeah.
Number of politicians were there. Faiza Shaheen. Talks about it just talked about they were discussing BDS.
Have I been muted? I can't see any of my comments. You should be able to see your comments, Dabs. I haven't muted you, as far as I'm aware.
In the Times of Israel article at no point mentions the word anti-Semitism. Actually, Lawyers for Israel, it does mention it, sorry, because it's got a hyphen in, that's why I missed it out. Condemns the arguments and methods of BDS as anti-Semitic, but it promotes BDS in this thing. See if Palestine Expo, the actual Twitter account, has a clip of it.
Did we find the crime that she's committed yet? No, because they're saying she said a thing. Okay, well, show me her saying the thing then. You know, look, this is bullshit. So as far as I'm concerned.
Like the Palestine Expo Twitter account doesn't mention anything.
Yeah, so this is, if all we're getting is obviously biased, have every interest in the world to lie about this, people saying it.
I'm just reading this whole article to try and find it. Let me just have a look.
Yeah, that's no problem. Thank you to everyone who's given bits and subs and stuff tonight. I really appreciate that. Apologies that I haven't really been shouting you out. I've had guests on, but I do appreciate that, and you can, of course.
I mean, because what might have happened is they might have said that, oh well, there's not like the resistance brigades might not have been necessarily anti-Semitic. That might have been the question, and they are transposing the idea that the resistance brigades not being anti-Semitic means that, well, anti-Semitic, all the resistance brigades in NGO Monitor's mind want to hunt down Jews for being Jews, and therefore they transpose that into defense of the resistance brigades. Of course, Hamas have said plenty of anti-Semitic things, but that is not the entirety of the resistance brigades. You know, you've got PFLP, DFLP, who, whilst having committed terrorist acts or whatever, they don't hunt down Jews for being Jews. Like, this is a complex issue. But again, without the evidence of what she's done and said and the context within, I literally cannot confirm nor quash what's being said here.
Yeah. This is as bad as Destiny reading Wikipedia during a debate on Palestine. No.
This is super important, though. Like, we need to know what's being said here, because if this is true, this is really fucking damning. And then the entire media narrative on this story has been different.
Yeah.
Like, if the media haven't been mentioning this is a dereliction of media duty. You have someone who's genuinely said something, like, actively anti-Semitic, but we have no evidence of these things, so we can't confirm nor quash, which is the problem.
Also, how do we know that they aren't using cookies to make fucking rocket fuel?
True. Like, the Kassan cookie rockets.
True. True. Chocolate chip death. Oh yeah, and let's not forget, I think it's worth mentioning, they're still literally bombing Rafah right now. That's the thing that's still happening. They're still doing it. Red lines, anyone? Did anyone say red lines? No? Okay. Cool. Awesome. I'm just going to call it as bullshit. It's not up to us to disprove a thing, because how could you even do that? If they're the ones making the positive claim, you have to show some fucking evidence that it happened. I can't prove she's never said it, because I don't know what she's said in every instance ever.
Yeah.
What's the whole thing? You can't prove a negative or some shit. Did you see Biden's peace treaty this morning? Yeah, I mean, look, if anything comes of it, cool, but I don't see anything happening there. It's not in Netanyahu's interest to have peace, because he knows as soon as he gets kicked out of office. So it just goes on and on forever.
Did Hamas already agree to the ceasefire proposal?
They've said that, I think they said something like they're positively inclined toward it or something, but they're going to have like meetings with people and, you know. I presume they've got structures.
It seems like it gets Hamas everything that they want. Like, it seems like it's the kind of thing that they wanted, like an end to the conflict, a withdrawal of troops. I guess there's no prisoner swap, but there is an end to the conflict, and Hamas don't get cursed out of Gaza. So
I thought there was an initial partial prisoner swap, wasn't there?
I think there's just a hostage release in terms of Hamas releasing the Israeli hostages. I don't think there's a prisoner release out of Israel. Unless I'm misremembering.
I think I seem to recall there being a prisoner swap involved. Does anyone have the details again? Apologies, everybody, but yeah, we're doing a research stream now out of nowhere. Biden said it was an Israeli ceasefire offer, and then Israel said no, it's not. Lol. Kind of, yeah. I mean, that's basically what happened.
Okay, fair enough. We'll probably, we'll have to look into this.
Yeah.
Again, I was searching on YouTube for the clip, just Palestine Expo 2019, Faiza Shaheen. No results on there either.
Yeah. So, also, that's not the reason that's been given by the party. And if she said this in 2019, that means that the entirety of the entirety of Keir Starmer's leadership has involved having an anti-Semite that everyone knew was an anti-Semite, apparently. Okay.
Their own constituency Labour office as well. They vandalised it with anti-Semitic messages as well. So
whoa. They weren't
even there.
Have you seen the vandalism, Kev?
No, what happened?
I mean, you could say that there are anti-Semitic undertones to it, and I wouldn't begrudge you from saying so, but it just says get Israel out of UK or something, or get Israel out of Labour, something like that. It's literally it's been spray painted all over the Chingford and Wood Green Labour constituency office.
Yeah.
I guess the assumption is that there's like an Israeli plot to get rid of Faiza Shaheen there, which I guess is like the I guess it's like a conspiratorial trope, which I guess is that's definitely like anti-Semitic adjacent there. But it is true that lobbyists for Israel are people with power within the Labour Party. So
yeah. So speaking of the wise, Mr. Biden said that the first phase of the proposal would include a full and complete ceasefire, the withdrawal of IDF forces from populated areas, and an exchange of hostages for Palestinian prisoners. That's an interesting way of phrasing that. It's hostages when they're Israelis, but all of the Palestinians.
oh, so there is
prisoners.
so there is actually a prisoner exchange. That's again that's literally giving Hamas everything that they want, really and truly.
Yeah. Hamas view the proposals positively. Okay. Yeah, that's yeah. Well, hopefully something comes of it, but like I say, Israel have been less than perfect in terms of this. They've said like, oh, the war will go on until we reach our goals or whatever. And you thought, oh, fuck's sake, we'll see. Anyway, yeah. I mean, stay tuned. If anyone can provide a link to Faiza Shaheen saying, you know, death to Israel or something, get in touch. But until these motherfuckers can provide any concrete evidence whatsoever.
Okay. Yeah, actually, it was 2018, sorry, not 2019. Maybe it's why I'm missing out. But it was a panel entitled "Media Honest Reporting."
Yeah, that's what I found on the thing.
Yeah.
But that doesn't. I mean, that's not evidence of anything. Then that's just someone saying that she said a thing, without any context as well. So we don't even know in what context she was saying that.
Well, if they've linked to a YouTube video, I find it difficult to believe they just linked to a YouTube video that just had nothing in it. Or I guess again, it might just be out of context or something. I'm not even sure.
I don't know. It might have been clip chimp to fuck. Who knows? I have no idea. I'm not positively inclined to believe an organisation with Douglas Murray and Alan Dershowitz on the board, and no offence to your man there, but a person on YouTube who I don't necessarily entirely trust, to tell the truth, when it comes to the Labour Party and its internal chicanery. So I'm going to call bullshit on it until shown otherwise. Yeah.
I will reserve judgment until I've seen something that confirms my questions. Apparently, Shaheen's been tagged in the response to the clip there, so she can take it up with him if she's got evidence to the contrary. So we'll leave it in her
how
hands.
could she ever have evidence to the contrary? How could you prove you've never said a thing?
I mean, because the NGO Monitor clip that Phil is referencing there, there's a specific time, place, and panel. So if she has a video footage or if she has a transcript, then she can debunk it.
Okay, well, we'll see. We will see. And on that bombshell, that political intrigue bombshell, this has been a whole thing that happened.
It really has been.
It's been emotional, and I appreciate it. What you got coming up on your channel in the near future?
I'm sorry?
What have you got going on your channel in the near future? Pimp yourself.
Okay, so I'm absolutely. So tomorrow I'm going live with Curtis for his Normal Island podcast.
Oh, nice.
And then we've got everyday election coverage as we do. And Saturday again, I will want to shill for the canvassing for the Green Party in Leicester South on Saturday. I think it was meeting in Leicester. I thought we'd have for 10 a.m. Again, I'm going to have to sort out the details with Shaman and see what she says about things so that we can coordinate plans. But we will be trying to plan for canvassing next weekend. So if you're near Leicester or near the Midlands and want to come down and help out and have a positive impact on politics rather than just typing in chat and shouting at a computer screen, which is what I do for a job, I want to try and translate that into real world politics, then feel free to come down and help out.
Yes, go and do that. I might be there. I don't know. I've got some stuff to think about, frankly.
You got some ruminations to engage in.
Exactly. I've got to let my coffee beans percolate, and we'll see what happens. Yes. I'm going to kick everyone over to Adrian Vixen. Are you aware of that person? I
am indeed aware of Adrian Vixen, friend of the show. So I will. Oh, is that on Twitch? You're doing that, yeah?
Yes, indeed. I am doing that there.
No worries. And I will send on YouTube. I'll send over to Goddammit Malcolm.
Okay. Yes, and I'll possibly be back tomorrow. I don't know. I don't have anything planned.
Oh shit! Hang on 1 second. Sarah Jessica Farter, which is an excellent name, in YouTube chat has said, Apparently, the actual quote is that Shaheen said it's not a fact that one of the Munich murderers visited the grave of one of the victims. She doesn't say what Phil claimed. Yes, it's true. So I mean, there is literally zero evidence that anybody's ever brought to us that Atef CSO was ever connected with the Munich attack.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go then. So
yeah, people say that he was killed by Mossad because he was linked to the attacks in the Munich attacks, but actually no, CSO was murdered by Mossad for being the CIA go-between between the PLO and the US government.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Okay, so Phil's full of shit then. Although I suspect he doesn't know he's full of shit. I think he's just taken that unread. I think he's just gone, okay, yeah, I'll believe that. Which is sloppy, but not necessarily like actively false or whatever. But yeah. Anyway, go and check out Adrian, who's a good person. Yeah, and I'll be back maybe tomorrow. And if not, you can always just go over and check out No Justice on the various platforms.
Absolutely, and also KF Logan 1875 over on Twitch, that you can go follow there, and over on YouTube it's at Ploppy111. I highly recommend you checking out both of those things.
But not on Twitter, because Elon Musk has murdered my opinion. Fact.
Oh yeah, shit, you can't do the Twitters anymore. That's very sad.
Oh, outrageous. Anyway, yeah, thanks for listening and watching. Thank you for all your support. I'll see you later.
Take care, stay safe, and free Palestine.
Indeed.